Hello. Welcome. Oh man, we're starting from the big camera today. Happy Halloween! It's Halloween. I thought we would do something special for the stream today. Yeah. So we're gonna do something special to the stream. We're starting on the big camera. We never do this. Yeah, Halloween, special stream. We're gonna play a little bit of AI Dungeon. Specifically, I want to use AI Dungeon to fulfill a particular wish of mine, which is that to complete this a particular book for me. Let me show you. Let's bring this up. So this book I got at a used bookstore a few years back. It is called The Transition of Titus Crow by Brian Lumley. This book looks rad. Look at that cover. But what really made me get it is the back of this book. Let me read you. Looks like this on the back. Hello. The back of this book reads as follows. Now this is published in 1975, which is before a lot of the H.P. Lovecraft stuff really took off. I think it's been a lot more sort of in the public consciousness in like the last 25 years or so. So remembering that this is going on 50 years old, here's what the back of this book says. Although born exactly 9 months after the death of H.P. Lovecraft, Brian Lumley denies that he is the reincarnation of Lovecraft's horror-haunted soul. Evidence in the form of Lumley's fascination with the Cthulhu mythos and in his growing acclaim as the inheritor of the literary mantle of Lovecraft hints otherwise. Especially since Lumley is no mere imitator, but an innovator of SF-styled time-space horror novels which HPL himself would have been pleased to acknowledge. The Transition of Titus Crow is such an epic, pitting the ingenuity and mind of a daring investigator against the rising power and enmity of the Elder Gods and the growing chaos from outer space. Sounds pretty good, right? Pretty goofy. One small problem with this book. I've tried to read it a few times, started it up. Every time, got out of there because, man, it isn't very good. It's not a very good book. So, what I wanted to do today was to take AI Dungeon. We're going to take the beginning of this book. There's a kind of a prologue at the start, which is like a newspaper clipping that they have at the start. We're going to put that right in AI Dungeon and use that as a prompt for an adventure. Yeah, we're going to remake the book. That's the whole idea. So we're gonna try to do it, and we're gonna try to do it right. We're gonna take the promising beginning that we had and make it something more interesting, something befitting of this awesome cover and that hilarious back of the book. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. There's other parts of this where there's another about the author section somewhere in here where he claims that he was born 9 months after H.P. Lovecraft died. It's weird. We're not gonna worry about that. Anyway, let's get to AI Dungeon. Now, I haven't done this on stream before, so I don't really know what the conventions are. Messed around with AI Dungeon when it first came out, but haven't really tried it since then. So this might be either the worst or the best thing that we do on the stream ever. So let's get in it. So again, we're gonna be right here at the prologue, which is this newspaper clipping. London occultist back from the dead. Dr. Henri Laurent de Marny. Well, how do you say this? De Marny. Henri Laurent de Marny, son of the great New Orleans mystic Etienne Laurent de Marny, is literally back from the dead, having been pronounced missing or dead in 1976, along with his friend and colleague Mr. Titus Crow, late of Leonard's Walk Heath. Speculation is now rife as to whether Titus Crow may also still be alive following Mr. de Marny's amazing reappearance after an absence of almost 10 years since the freak lightning storm of 4 October 1969 that utterly destroyed Blownhouse, Mr. Crow's residence. Hello, Rango, what's up? We're completing this book that I got at a used bookstore. So we're putting in the prompt at the beginning. The prologue at the beginning, and we're going to make an AI Dungeon story out of it. Also, that's a super long sentence. Anyway, that's just my own editorializing. If you need any help, I've played AI Dungeon almost every day since April 2020, so I'll be happy to help you. Nice outfit, by the way. Dapper, yeah. I was going for Hans Gruber from Die Hard. So what is the line he does? Can I do it? Can I do the voice? Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy? You know, things like that. Anyway, yes, Holy Cat 5, I might call on you to give me a hand then as we're trying to figure this out. I can join later in multiplayer game, but iPad is too low now. Okay, let me try it on single player first while we're figuring it out, and maybe we can iterate on this a little bit later. Anyway, so Titus Crow and Mr. Henry Marney has been missing. I thought it was like Haunted Hotel Guy. It could also be that. It's a vintage suit that I got at a. I have a secondhand. I'm reading from a secondhand book and wearing a suit that I got at a secondhand clothes store. Also, great voice acting. Thanks. It's a work in progress. Yeah. Okay. So Marnie and Titus Crow have been missing for 10 years since a lightning storm blew up their house. Great. Until now, it was also believed that the storm had killed the two friends. An element of doubt has always existed with regards to their deaths. Those are from the book. I didn't put those quotation marks in. For no bodies were ever found in the ruins of the house following the storm, despite the fact that the occultists were believed to be in residence. Demarini's return yesterday morning was as dramatic as his disappearance. Listen, this is Halloween in a nutshell. No one is shilling out hundreds over it. Good. Yeah, we're doing everything on the cheap here. He was fished out of the Thames at Purfleet more dead than alive, saved from almost certain death by drowning by Mr. Harold Simmons of Tilbury, who dragged him aboard his barge from the precarious refuge of a buoy. Mr. Simmons reports how, despite Demarini's battered and bruised condition, the occultist clung to the buoy like a limpet, even making an exhausted, delirious attempt to fight his rescuer off. He looked like he'd been hit by an express train. When does the AI start? Soon. We're almost there. We're right at the end. This is still from the book. He looked like he'd been hit by an express train, Mr. Simmons reports, but he certainly wasn't ready to give in. Mr. Demarini, identified initially through certain documents he carried, is now recovering in hospital. That's the end of the prompt of the book. I love you have an actual book in here, Lamau. When it sounds mad. Yeah, it's so this is, it ends at the word hospital, is where the book ends. And then AI Dungeon added this sentence, which I think is nice. While the exact nature of the documents is unclear, it is believed they contain some kind of testament to his survival. Some of this looks like the AI, like a limpet. Looks like he was hit by an express train. No, that's just the quality of writing you can find in The Transition of Titus Crow by Brian Lumley. Man. Yeah, this is unreadable. Anyway, so we need to know who we are. I think, so we've got this story, right? There's this guy, Demarini, he's recovering in the hospital. He has been pulled out of the Thames. He's been missing for 10 years. He and his friend Titus Crow have been missing for 10 years because their house blew up or burned down or something in a terrible lightning storm, but they've been missing. Is it actually a good book? I have not been able to get past the first few pages. It is not. Maybe it gets really good later, but the beginning is not strong. That's part of why we're here today. Okay, so let's be a I think we need to tell AI Dungeon who we are. So we'll say you, right? Is how we do it in AI Dungeon whenever it's about the player. So we'll say, You are. Who should we be? Should we be like a relative of Titus Crow? Somebody who's coming. Let's do that. So we're Titus Crow's his cousin or his uncle or something. And we're out looking for him, and we want to talk to Demarini because if Demarini's back, maybe he knows something about Titus Crow. I think that's a good in for our story. Okay. You are Titus Crow's. We'll say Titus Crow's. You can click story to change from story, action, and words. Right, okay. Do say story. Cool. You are Titus Crow's, let's be his, remaking the book after around 46 years. It's time. Honestly, 46 years is the perfect amount of time for this to just stew, for us to get into it. You are Titus Crow's, let's be his brother. And we're gonna be named. Okay, his name is Titus. What would be like another good kind of maybe a Shakespeare-y name, like Lawrence Crow? That sounds like a real name. So you are Titus Crow's brother, Lawrence. Marcus is better. Marcus is a much stronger name. Marcus. Let's also make him American. You've traveled from the States because I think Demarny is like very. He might be French. Oh no, New Orleans. Yeah, so Demarny is from the U.S. In reference to a past stream of AI Dungeons I was in, can we bring in the secret conspiratory chalk society? Yes. You and Marcus. You and Titus. Titus formerly belonged to the secret. What is it? Oh man, I gotta learn to type better. Conspiratory? Conspiracy. We'll say conspiratory chalk society. An occult research group. Research probably shouldn't be capitalized or occult. Occult research group. Group based out of New Orleans. But you left the group, but you allowed your membership to expire following your brother's disappearance roughly 10 years ago. Now, you might want to pin some of the info. Oh, F. Oh, F for the iPad, right? Oh, what should AI remember? Oh. Okay. Oh, I forgot they added the pin feature. Let's put this in. Boom. Roughly 10 years ago. Do I just type in everything that matters in here? You have traveled. That was a while ago. You have traveled. We'll say traveled. Just gotta learn to type here. Traveled to London. To question Demarny. To question Demarny. Following his miraculous reappearance. Perhaps he knows. Perhaps Hasp. Oh my god. He knows what happened to Titus. Boom. Great. Happened. Good. I did try pin once before. Shit got weird, but that's AI dungeon. Good. Okay. Let's try to go to the hospital first, right? We're gonna go to the hospital. We're gonna try to talk to Demarny. So what I have to do, right? We'll say go to the hospital. To try to see, is this the dragon AI or the griffin? I'm not sure. How can I tell? Can we still make a pig society as a dictator who destroys humanity instead of helping them in the apocalypse? Let's work our way up there. Let's go to the hospital and try to see Demarny. The settings, that would make sense. Settings, am I gonna leave this page? This is AI model type is Griffin, I'm told. Griffin is the default. The free one, probably. Yeah. Okay, we're going to the hospital to try to see Demarny. You decide to head to the hospital in order to see Demarny. It's not far away. You head in the direction of the hospital and take a right in the nearest street. Yeah, I run the premium one. Oh, I see. Which is crazy, Griffin or Dragon? I feel like there's enough craziness to go around, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't dipped my toe in this in a long time. Okay. We'll say enter the hospital, because the AI didn't realize that we wanted to go inside. You walk up in the front to the front desk and ask to see Mr. Demarny. The receptionist looks up the information and hands you a visitor's badge. You take it and stick it on your jacket. Dragon is premium, I believe. That makes sense. I didn't play anything for what we're doing right now. So, yeah. If one is premium and one is free, this is the free one. And we're doing Griffin, so logically. Okay. And stick it to your jacket. Okay. We'll head up the stairs to Demarny's room. Who's Demarny again? So Demarny is our brother's old friend. They were both occultists living in this house together in England that got blown up in a freak lightning storm. Don't worry, Free seems fine. Okay. Hope so. You head up the stairs to Demarni's room. We have two aficionados, Real Rango and myself. Nice. Okay, good. You two can help guide me. You head to the second floor and listen at the door. You hear nothing, so you open it up and go in. We're going to look at Demarni. Does he seem well enough? No, we'll say introduce ourselves. Myself? Yourself? Introduce myself to Demarni. I haven't played it long ago. I mean, I only played it long ago. Oh, okay. You introduce yourself and say, I'd like to talk to you about your miraculous reappearance. Demarni looks at you for a moment, then speaks. So do I just let him speak? Do I just press the next button? Introduce yourself to our brother. No, he's our brother's friend. Our brother is, Oh, you know what? Why am I on the wrong thing? Zoomed cam? Yeah, it's switched. You hit a keybind. Let's unset that keybind, because I know which one it is. Let's trash that, yeah. And that way, hopefully that won't happen again. Thank you for the heads up. It's going great. You introduce yourself and say, I'd like to talk to you about your miraculous reappearance. He looks at you for a moment, then speaks. It is not a miracle, and it is not my reappearance. I can explain. You ask him to explain it in front of Yagashiri, who is standing nearby. So he does. Oh, we got Yagashiri here. Good. He's new. Better remember, don't be afraid to do something wacky or evil. Okay. We might need to get rid of Yagashiri. Who's Yagashiri? He says, Titus and I went into the catacombs beneath Les Innocents during the Great Disturbance of the 18th century. He's still... Who is Yag? Who is Yag? We don't know. He's a new boy. While we were there, strange things were happening. The dead rose and performed terrible deeds. It was then that Titus and I first began to experience strange changes also. We'll say, what are you talking about? Maybe that's too open a question. What kind of changes? What kind of changes do you mean? We started transforming into birds and then reverted back to our human forms, he says. When you look skeptical, he says, comma. What does he say? I can assure you it's true. I myself have seen this happen with my own 2 eyes. That's interesting, you say. What exactly does this transformation entail? Let's fill in the blanks, because I don't want to have this long conversation with Demarni here. So we'll say Demarni explains that the transformation describes. We'll say he describes the terrifying and torturous process of transforming from man to bird and back again. Torturous, I don't know how to spell. With a U? Like torture is spelled? Just FYI, if you don't like a response from AI, you can undo it or retry it. Oh, okay. That seems like a good... Oh, right, because we can, like, edit it and change it up. We might do that, especially... I notice that AI Dungeon gets stuck a lot, kind of nothing happening, people not getting to the point of what they're talking about. So we might do that to jump in and try to move things along. Why does he say he saw it with his own 2 eyes? How does that calm our skepticism? Listen, your brother and me, we turned into birds. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Oh, okay. Retry will force the AI to think of a new response. Got it. Oh, let's try that next time we get something funky. And back again. You're still not convinced. Oh, okay, fine. You. We'll edit that. Okay, you try not to look too uncomfortable. I like that. When he's finished, he asks you, do you wish to see this miraculous transformation for yourself? You're not sure. Let's say... It's funny because I know that in the book, Demarny, like, every bone in his body is broken. He's in terrible shape. And so he's just like, oh, do you want me to do that again? The thing that broke every bone in my body? You know what? Lay it on me. I want to see you transform into a bird. Demarny smiles and says, all right, I'll set it up for you. Yagashiri stands on the left, you on the right, and Demarny sits in the middle. Fucking Yagashiri. AI Dungeon is actually spoiling the boom. That's why his bones are the book. That's why his bones are broken. Of course, he had little hollow bird bones. Demarny closes his eyes and takes a deep breath. You see his chest rise and fall, and know he's begun the transformation. Pyotr Bizzle, ask if you can be transformed into the bird. It's a good idea. Let's say do look to see if Yagashiri is nervous. You look to see if Yagashiri is nervous. You look over at Yagashiri, but he isn't looking anywhere, nor is he moving. He's just standing there, staring at the transformation in front of him. We will continue to watch the transformation. Silently. But, oh, this is good. It's already gone so far off the rails. I love it. Demarny begins a slow, awkward, and painful transformation. Soon he's hanging limp, lifelessly flapping his wings. You open your eyes. You open your eyes. Our eyes were closed. Yagashiri looks at you. I can't believe he actually turned into a bird. Is this the horror section? This is, it's some body horror. He's turning into a bird. Yagashiri nods in agreement. I know, it's bizarre. You try to keep the horror from your face, but you can't. You look away and say, that's effed up. That's pretty crazy. That's the most amazing thing I've seen in my life. Let's say let's change this line a little bit. We're going to say that's the worst and most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. But this still doesn't explain what happened to Titus. Demarny smiles and says, is a bird. It says, tweet, tweet, tweet. No, that's a good question. I don't have an answer to that one, but I'm hoping that by asking someone else, I might get a clue as to what happened to my, okay, let's edit this to, actually, let's retry this one. I want to try that. Demarny smiles and says, after the great disturbance, a strange force took, we're gonna change this to your brother, took your brother beyond the grave. It's a long and painful process to explain, but his being a necromancer at all, I felt I should not interfere. Okay, we know our brother is sort of an occultist, so it could be, necromancer is not too far of a stretch. Okay, after the great disturbance, a strange force took your brother beyond the grave. Is there any way we can retrieve him now? Please, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do, Demarny, whose name now has an E at the end. Demarny shakes his head. I'm sorry, there is no way to retrieve him at this time. You sigh in relief? No. Let's get that one again. Let's try that one again. Demarny shakes his head. We're gonna say, you're full of it, Demarny. We're gonna try to get out of here. You're full of it, Demarny. There has to be a way. Bring my brother back. Where did you last see him? We're gonna try to go to this other location. in an effort to move the story along. Damarani sighs and says, I don't know. It was a long time ago. The last thing I remember seeing was his and my hands intertwined. You take a deep breath and say, no, we need to know where it was. Try it again. Try it again, AI. Tell us where to go. Yagashiri places his hand on top of mine and says, I'm interested. Yagashiri, what do you want to interject into this conversation? My dear boy, we have been through all of this. It's not our path to take him back. It's our path to discover what happened to him. Okay, we'll say, where can I learn more about his disappearance? Desperate to go somewhere else. I'm afraid you will have to visit his grave. Perfect, we can do that, Yagashiri says. It's the only place you will find the answers you seek. Okay, we're going to leave with Yagashiri and head to the graveyard. You leave with Yagashiri and head to the graveyard. Yagashiri is like he's like our Watson, I think. You and Yagashiri walk through the gates and head towards the entrance to the graveyard. I'm nervous, you admit to Yagashiri. Don't be. I'll keep you safe. We're going to look for Titus's grave. Now, it makes sense that he could have a grave here because he was missing, presumed dead for like 10 years. So this is all still working. Yagashiri stops in his tracks and points at a grave covered with fresh flowers. That's his grave. Are you sure? I'm positive. Let's examine the flowers. Who could have left them? Let's examine the flowers. We'll just leave it at that. Somebody left fresh flowers at our brother's grave. You walk over to the grave and look at the flowers. They appear to be of the ordinary variety, but one stands out to you slightly. It's a yellow flower, like the sun, and it has the name. What is the name of this flower? AI, you're keeping me in suspense. Titus! It's him! The flower is our brother, written in black letters. Okay, not necessarily. You see a man staring at you from the other side of the grave. He sticks his arm out of the grave and waves as you approach. No. Let's remove this part where he says Titus. He sticks his arm out, and he's not going to do it out of the grave. He waves as you approach. We don't need him to be inside of the grave. That doesn't make any sense. He waves as you approach. Boom. We're going to ask him. We're going to say, excuse me. Excuse me. Did you leave these flowers here? Oh, we got to put in... It used to be a rule you had to put it in quotes. I don't know if that's still a thing. He looks as if he's about to run away, and then stops and asks, Yes, why do you ask? You point to the grave and ask, Don't you know... How did you know... My brother! So we're revealing this information to him that we're the brother of Titus. I didn't, but I've known quite a few people in my time, and that's what they used to do. Nope, let's try that one again. Oh, that, he says. I watch over many graves. It's one of my duties. What did your brother die of? You tell him. No one knows for sure. No one. So this is just like the graveyard guy, it turns out, hanging out by the grave. No one knows for sure. Knows for sure. He went missing almost 10 years ago during a terrible lightning storm. Well, whatever. You tell him, no, okay, it was a little, the text was weird there, but it's fine now. He went missing almost 10 years ago during a terrible lightning storm. And then we'll also say to him, do you know, did you see who left these flowers? Yeah, so someone's coming to our brother's grave. Who could this be? Damarni's turning into a bird. Well, the woman left them. She was wearing a sky blue dress I would describe as gothic with black boots. She had a strange mark on her forehead. Have you seen her here before? Have you seen her here, here before? Do you know where I can find her? Alright, this is our first clue. Well, maybe like our second clue. The AI says, "Oh no, I would never do that. I respect privacy. She's a powerful woman. I think you should leave here and not pursue her. She might be dangerous." Let's say, do offer a hefty bribe to the graveyard, to the man. Let's keep it simple. You offer a hefty bribe to the man. "Oh, well, if you insist," the man says. "My price is not negotiable. I'll have to get my employer to get, let's try that one again. You offer a hefty bribe to the man. You shake your head and continue. "What's the matter? Can't you talk to me? Don't you trust me?" "Of course I trust you," he says. Then at least let me know where I can speak to this woman. Woman who visited this grave. I promise, I swear. I'll leave you out of it. I'll leave your name out of it. Let's see if we can twist this guy's arm into telling us. "That's alright, I don't need to know your name. You can visit her when you like. Just don't tell anyone I gave you the information. Promise? I promise." Thanks. You leave the man to his grave and head to the next one. You can no, this is mixed up. Good. Now if you'll excuse me, I must go. The man walks away in a hurry and you head back to Yagashiri. Well, he was lying. Okay, so this woman wasn't really the person who, no, that's like a denial. We're not going to allow that. He smiles and waves as you head away. You walk through the gates and Yagashiri says, "Come along." You follow him through the streets of the city. Fair enough. Do go to the mysterious woman's house. You go to the mysterious woman's house. Yagashiri walks quickly through the streets, scanning them as he goes for any sign of danger. "Are you sure this is the way?" you ask. So I guess Yagashiri maybe is from London, because we're from the US, we said, right? So maybe he's like also showing us around. "Hush now, boy. Keep your voice low. No point in attracting any unwanted attention," Yagashiri says. You pull up short as you come to a 3-story stone townhouse. Let's look up into the windows. You look up into the windows. Before we go in, let's just check this place out. Yagashiri pulls you into the shadows of a nearby alley and draws his sword. That's dope. Good for you, Yagashiri. Keep your eyes on the window. Don't look down, he whispers. While watching the window, walk up to the door and knock. iPad ran out. Did I miss anything? Did we transform into a bird? No. So what happened was we went to the graveyard and there were fresh flowers at our brother's grave. So we talked to the gravekeeper, and at first he wouldn't talk to us, but we bribed him, and he told us that this mysterious woman with a strange mark on her forehead left the flowers, and then he told us where we can find her. So we're heading there with Yagashiri now. We also found out that Yagashiri has a sword. Yeah. You watch the windows as Yagashiri knocks on the door. It opens up quickly, and Yagashiri rushes in. That was quick, a voice from behind says. Shh. Bribed him with, money? I don't know. We gave him some money. We had some English pounds on us, and we slipped them to him. Also, did we pin the bird stuff in Lady? We did not. Should we have? The bird stuff does seem important. Let's see, let's try to pin the message about the lady. How do I... Pin details you want to keep. Okay. So we'll say... What, so I just grab... I just add more? Like this? We'll say the woman left... the flower left... Okay, I got it. So we'll be like adding it to our little detective notebook. We'll say, a woman left... Just type the details in pin. Don't gotta copy and paste it. Got it. Left fresh flowers at our brother's grave. She has a strange mark on her forehead. How's that? And then we'll also get the thing about transforming into birds, because that's bananas. Okay, a woman left fresh flowers at her brother's grave. She has a strange mark on her forehead. And we'll also say Damarni can transform into a bird. He says there is no way to bring our brother back, but told us... he says there's no way to bring... I guess it's your brother back, right? He says there's no way to bring your brother back, but told you to visit your brother's, Titus's grave. Boom. One time in AI Dungeons, I snuck into the president's house by saying, I'm the president. Oh man, the perfect bluff. Okay. Cool. So we've pinned it. Shh. We're gonna rush into the doorway to see what's happened. So yeah, so Yagashiri has a sword. He's knocked on the door. He rushed inside, and somebody from inside said that was quick. You see a woman standing at the end of a long hallway. She's wearing a long black dress, and her hair looks like spider webs. Hello, do you live here? So where are we? We're at this woman's house right now. So the gravekeeper told us where to find her. So I guess we're at her house. Or her flat or apartment or whatever is in this 3-story stone townhouse. We're gonna get rid of hello, do you live here, and we're gonna say our own thing. Say, pardon the intrusion, because we did rush into our home with a sword, but did you visit the grave of Titus Crow recently? What? She asks. Yes, it's a long story. No, I have... let's try this one again. She turns slowly to stare at you. You see something like recognition in her eyes. Not going to question how he knows she lives there. Yeah, he just told us. He was just like, listen, I'm the gravekeeper. I know where everybody lives. Let me just give you directions. You see something like recognition in her eyes. Why, yes, I did. Why do you ask? I need to ask you some questions. They're rather important. We're going to explain to the woman that we are trying to find the truth about Titus's disappearance. Long story, Lamau. It's a long story. It's a long story. Disappearance with a C. Gravekeepers know where everyone lives for financial career plans. Ah, yes. That's part of their job. Part of the job is you dig graves and you know where everybody lives. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you there, young sir. I didn't know that he was your brother. It's a long time ago now. It was a tragedy. We're gonna ask... Say? What do you mean? How did you know... my brother? Ask how she knows him. Yeah, good call. We gotta connect this woman to the story more. And we'll pin whatever she says. Oh, it's a long tale. Nope. Perhaps some other time. Perhaps down at the pub. You don't gotta put say in quotes. Oh, okay. The stories are quite entertaining. The pub? Should we take her to the pub? Do we know her name? We don't know her name. Her name is secret. We should probably learn it so that AI Dungeon doesn't get confused and forget who she is. Say... Very well. We can talk at the pub. But before we do... May I at least know your name? Good call. We'll get her name. The pub? Turning into World's End. Why, certainly. My name is Mayo. Oh, it says, training the AI. Please tap on the response you'd like to keep. Okay. Is she Veronica or Mayo? Well, we shouldn't ask Yagashiri his name again. Although that's very funny. So this is the horror genre section, right? No. I did a custom, story and just put in the beginning of the book, basically. Typed it in as the prompt. Let's say Veronica, although this is a hilarious sentence. Oh, my name is Veronica, the woman replies. Veronica, you say? Wondering if that's a short or a long version of Jane. Yes, she replies, smiling. Okay, so we're going to say a woman. We're going to say Veronica. Is that, by the way, Veronica, that's a very interesting name. Is that a short version or a long version of Jane? Okay, fine. We'll go to the pub. I just like the idea of asking Yag's name again. Yagashiri, what's your name again? What's your name again, bud? He's just kind of like tagging along. Yagashiri is like, my headcanon is that he's, actually let's just put it in a pin, because we can just say stuff, right? Let's just say Yagashiri. Yagashiri is an old friend living in London. Veronica is short for Jane, yes. Very short. Yagashiri is an old friend living in London. He has agreed to help solve the mystery of Titus's disappearance. Great. Boom. Put it in the notes. Alright, go to the pub. We're going to the pub. How is he an old friend? He literally said we don't know him. Did we say we didn't know him? That does sound true. Yeah, what is his deal? Maybe you're right. Maybe he's Demarni's? Because he was in Demarni's hospital room, right? So we're going to say is an acquaintance of Demarni's. He has agreed to help you solve the mystery of Titus's disappearance. Good fix. Yeah, so we met him at the hospital. And he's like, oh, what the hell? This guy turned into a bird? Let me help you figure out what's up with that. We're going to the pub with Yagashiri. And Veronica. Right? Good. Veronica leads you through several dark streets before arriving at a large, rundown pub. After you, Veronica says. You walk into the pub, and Veronica follows you inside. Put in, we forget his name a lot. I'm up for it. We'll say, you keep forgetting his name. Good fix. Good at it. Or it would be funny if it works. Put in, we constantly mispronounce Yag's name. Oh, Yagishiri? Yagishiri? That's one of those weird things, though, because we didn't, like, read his name, right? He probably introduced himself to us. But maybe. You walk into the pub and Veronica follows you inside. Let's, sidle into a booth. And, wave the bartender over. Bartenders love it when you do that. When you go into the booth at a pub and sit down, instead of going to the bar, you sit at the booth and wave them to come over to you. No. We're going to sidle in a booth and try to get the bartender's attention. Into a booth. Try to get the bartender's attention? Good. Great. There's no way this would go off the rails from here. Remember when that guy turned into a bird? I think everybody was a little too chill with that. The bartender looks up from a magazine he's reading and glares at you. What do you want? He asks. A beer, you reply. We don't serve minors. Okay. Actually, I like that. Let's say, sir, I've just turned 18 last month and have every right to enjoy a crisp brew here in the UK. Sir, I'm 21, but I am a droid. Okay, so we learned... So this is interesting because, Titus has been missing for 10 years. So we would... If we do this, then we were 8 years old when our brother went missing. Which I think is meaningful information. It's like on Pathologic 2, the Bachelor mispronounces your name, and then after you correct him, he does it again in the same conversation. It's hard. Once you say somebody's name, it just gets, like, tattooed into your mind, however the first way that you said it, I feel like. You pause for a moment, then grin and add, I promise to drink responsibly, sir. This is also a good note because our character, whose name I forget, Marcus, he can't drink in the US, but he travels to London to investigate his brother's disappearance, and also is like, well, since I'm here, and the drinking age is lower, I guess I'll go to the pub. The bartender gives you an odd look, then turns back to his magazine. Okay, so we're going to ask Veronica again. Let's pin this. Let's pin that we're... you just turned 18. You turned 18 years old last month. Oh, well, it says we belonged to the secret conspiratory Chalk Society, an occult research group. Does that make sense if we were 8 years old? Let's say... Yeah, that's fine. We'll just leave that. Ask Veronica again how she knew Titus. Now we're at the pub. She wanted to go to the pub. We went to the pub. We got a drink. Veronica, which is either short or long for Jane, how did you know Titus? Family cult. Yeah, it's something like that. Some kind of a culty thing is going on. We got out of it after our brother went missing. Years ago. That was years ago. Oh, that's a long story. Everybody says it's a long story. Perhaps we should go someplace a bit more private, Veronica says, motioning to the door. You nod and follow her outside. We should retry this, but I like the idea that we asked Veronica once and she was like, we should go somewhere public. Let's go to the pub. And then we get to the pub and ask her again and she's like, you know what? This is too public. Let's go somewhere else. Let's retry that one. Let's see if we can get a better answer. Veronica sits quietly in the corner, nursing her pint. She swishes the liquid in her mouth, then swallows. You know, I can't tell you that. It's confidential. If it really is a long story, there's no way the AI can tell it properly. Yeah, we have to try to push it to be a short story. Okay. What do you mean? Confidential. I'm his brother. Can't you tell me? Let's see if the AI can figure out what to do with that. Oh, this is fun. I wasn't sure about this, but I'm kind of having a blast. No, I can't. It's an investigative matter, and it's for the police. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must go. Okay, so we need to pin that because Veronica is a policewoman. She left fresh flowers at our brother's grave. She has a strange mark on her forehead. So we're on a murder case in a foreign country at just 18. Well, it's a missing persons case, but yeah, maybe it's also a murder. So what should we do? Should we let her go? Let's do grab her wrist as she gets up to leave. We're gonna be like, no, wait, stop. You grab her wrist and try to stop her from leaving. Our brother had a grave. Who are we investigating? Oh, well, so he went missing, though, because he and Demarney were presumed dead 10 years ago, but then Damarani showed up again in the River Thames. Somebody like pulled him off of a buoy. And also he can turn into a bird. Just sidebar. He turns into a bird sometimes. He did it for us. We didn't believe him, and so he did it for us. But since he's reappeared, we're like, oh, maybe we can find out more about what happened to the brother. But everybody's being very tight-lipped about it because the AI can't keep a thread going long enough, basically. You grab her wrist and try to stop her from leaving. Please! He's my brother. If he's still alive, I need to know. Ask him in the pub to show Jane, but a shorter name. Please, he's my brother. If he's still alive, I need to know. Comma after alive. You're totally right. I don't know how to write. If he's still alive... well, okay, let's fix it. Now that I know that is there, I need to know. Good call. Dang it, we got it, it's fine. He is, but it's better if you don't know. Now let me go. You release her wrist, and Veronica walks away quickly from you. You sit in the booth with your head bowed. Let's order another pint. And discuss this development with Yagashiri. Don't forget that Yagashiri is here with us. Oh, okay, so we need to pin this. This is crucial. Yeah, can we ask Yag to be in a birdcage all the time except when we need him? Well, he doesn't turn. Damarani, who's in the hospital, can turn into a bird. We don't know if Yagashiri can. We're going to say... Titus, Veronica says... Veronica told you that Titus is still alive. Does it help in a mystery story if you write down your suspicions for the AI? I'm not sure. Order another pint and discuss this development with Yagashiri. Can we kidnap Damarani as in a birdcage? We might go visit him again. Maybe we can bring him some bird seed and try to bribe him. Just keep bribing people. That was an interesting technique you used back there, he says. What was, you ask? I want to know what Yagashiri was interested in. Let's hear it. Well, you grabbed her wrist. That's never a good idea. Most people don't like to be grabbed. And if they do, it's a sure sign they're nuts, Yagashiri says. Grab. Lol, wrist grabbing. It's all about wrist control. Let's grab Yagashiri's wrist. You grab Yagashiri's wrist. That's a very interesting technique. Did you know that most people don't like that? Ow, Yagashiri says, pulling his wrist from your grasp. What'd you think that would accomplish? You're lucky I didn't break your arm, he laughs. I actually like that. This is kind of a cute little moment. He's like, oh, it was pretty interesting how you grabbed that police officer's wrist. Most people don't really like that. And then we playfully grab his wrist, and he's like, you're lucky I didn't break your arm. Ask Yag if he can turn into a bird. Alright, let's find out. He laughs. But this is like this is where they're becoming friends. Which is good. Okay, where do we go from here? So we know that the brother's there's this policewoman on the case who thinks that the brother's still alive. But Damarani said we could never bring him back. But we went to the grave. Also, this policewoman left flowers at the grave, so she obviously knows him. Wait, but didn't Damarani and Yag both get turned into birds in the crypts? I think Titus got turned into a bird. But let's actually review that. That's worth... Titus and I went into the catacombs. Yeah, this, by the way, we kind of let this one slide. That he did this during the 18th century. While we were there, strange things were happening. The dead rose and performed terrible deeds. It was then that Titus and I first began to experience strange changes also. We started transforming into birds. Okay, yeah. So Damarani and Titus turned into birds in the 18th century. Let's ask Yagashiri about that. Say, you know, let's say you're Damarani's friend. But who is Yag then? He's Damarani's friend, and we're gonna try to make this more clear, I guess. Do you think he was telling the truth about going back in time? Oh my god, do we want to put time travel in this, or do we want to just let that one slide and not introduce this element of time travel? Do you think he was telling the truth about going back in time to the 18th century? We're doing it. F it. We're doing it. Oh, and you said we don't need quotation marks, right? That's a question. Well, okay, we'll fix it. Should be a question mark. No, I don't. Good. Sorry, just for the record. Let's get that. Time travel is always great and doesn't make stuff go off the rails. I'm sure. No, I don't. The whole thing reeks of a weirdo. He couldn't have been telling the truth. But he really did turn into a bird. That part at least was true. That part was true. At least. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe all that other stuff really happened too. We're not gonna let this bird thing slide. That was horrifying. Yagishiri finishes off the last of his beer, then stands to leave. I need to get back to the station. You coming? Question if Veronica can turn into a bird. Just ask everybody we meet, hey, can you turn into a bird too? Why is everybody able to turn into a bird around here? You coming? Wait, is Yagishiri a cop too? Should we ask him, or should we say, how do we handle this? Because the station doesn't have to be a police station. We could point the AI in a different direction, I feel like. It's very confusing if Yagishiri and Veronica are both police officers. Let's ask the pub owner if he's ever met anyone who's turned into a bird. We just need to get through that line of questioning. Then stands to leave. Well, let's change it to say we should go down to the police station. Because we know the police are involved. We should go down to the police station. You coming? And that'll be our fix for that. I think that works. We should go down to the police station. You coming? We'll say finish off my beer, and stand to leave. No, he stood to leave and leave the pub. You finish off your beer and leave the pub. You decide to finish the last of your beer and pay for it. You know what? It could happen. You decide to finish the last of your beer and pay for it with a single remaining coin. Maybe it's like a pound coin. Veronica, who is standing a few feet away from you, frowns as you approach the bar. That's not leaving. Let's try that one again. We need to know if more people can turn into birds. Maybe we can find out who turned our brother's friend into a bird. True. You finish your beer and put the mug on the table. The bartender glares at you. Another one? He asks. Let's say... Not this time, Daddy-o. No, not this time. Let's say... Ignore the bartender. And leave with Yagishiri. Get out. Let us get out of here, AI. We want to get out of here. You exit the pub, and Yagishiri grabs your arm. Can we change this to Yagishiri grabs your wrist? Small change here. You exit the pub, and Yagishiri grabs your wrist. I know you want to ask more questions, but let's go. We don't have time, he says. It's been 10 years, but yeah, we don't have time. Okay. Go to the... Wait. Serious idea. Ask Veronica if her brother's case involved people turning into birds in a crypt from the 1800s. We should go down to the police station and try to find this out. Maybe I don't think the police just answer random people's questions, but maybe. You want to know a really weird thing about this book? Sorry, just aside. The book that is inspiring this adventure. So this was written in 1975, but the story takes place in let me see. In 1980. So it's like a near future book. Why would you do that? If you're writing the story, why not just, why does this story need to take place 5 years in the future from when it was written? It's so weird. Yogg's learned the wrist skill. Yeah. In a real bad horror story, you'd go to the library and look through the microfiche files for news stories about bird people. Let's actually just do that. We'll do that if the police station doesn't go anywhere. I suspect we'll get to the police station, they'll tell us to leave, and then we'll go look at the microfiche. I really like that idea. Go to the police station and ask about Titus's missing person case. There's no way they're gonna get it, but it's fine. The AI I feel like that's gonna baffle the AI, but we'll try. Okay, we get to choose. The police are not terribly helpful. He hasn't been reported missing to the police. More like he never existed. We have no record of a name like that, the desk sergeant says. Or, the police have no new information about the disappearance of your brother. He's likely dead. Oh, let's do this first one. This is very mysterious. The police are not terrible. I like this game's music. So this is, I searched on YouTube royalty-free Halloween music. This is 7 hours of royalty-free Halloween music playing. I actually don't have it in my ears, so I'm not 100% sure what it sounds like. Let's see. That's kind of nice. Okay. Okay, so the police say that your brother never existed. The police say that there's no record of Titus ever being alive. Which is shocking, but we'll allow it. Okay, so go to the library and search for news stories about bird people in the microfiche files. Boom. Ask about the police officer we know on the case, Veronica. Oh, poor Veronica. There are several titles, but nothing terribly illuminating. You decide to browse the stacks, looking at various newspapers. Ask if they have a police officer named Veronica. Do we want to go back and do that? Yeah, I would do that, actually, while we're at the police station. We have no record of a name like that. Say, do you have anyone working for you named Veronica? I'm not sure if it's long or short for Jane. Oh, it's supposed to be a question. I'm so dumb. What a coincidence! The game really needed to yes and me with the microfiche thing. We'll try it again in a second. Yeah, agreed though. That's her name. You could be right. She could be working under... no, that doesn't make any sense. He doesn't know that. Do you have anyone working for you named Veronica? Really what we want him to say is no, right? Working for us? No, I'm afraid not. Why? She was here in this pub, asking about a certain person. Let's just say, I'm afraid not. Why? Let's just leave it at that. So we'll also say... So this is very mysterious. The police don't know anything about anything. But we know that Veronica claims she's working for the police, but she isn't really. Or maybe rephrase it to people turning into birds instead of bird people. That's a good idea. Okay, we'll say Veronica says she's a policewoman. Is a policewoman. But the police... but the man at the police station... Good idea. To ask about them turning into birds. Says she is not. She left fresh flowers at her brother's grave. She has a strange mark on her forehead. Great. Why not? Say, do you know anything about people transforming into birds? What do we got? People and their ability to fly. Are you from the future or something? Because if you are, you'll have to excuse us. We really don't pay that much attention. We really don't pay that much attention in our division. The police officer replies. Let's... Listen, here at the police department, we don't pay attention to people turning into birds. As I told you before, I'm not allowed to discuss police matters. If you want to contact the Metropolitan Police in London, I can refer you to someone who can. I think we are in London. Let's try this one more time. Lamau. No, I don't. But I wouldn't put it past those two. No. That doesn't make any sense either. One more try. People turning into birds. You must be talking about that bloke who was here a week ago. He was here asking about the M25. I pointed him in that direction, but he was a bit odd. I feel very safe when police say they don't pay attention. Yeah. I lied. We're gonna try that one more time. No, the police officer says. Well, do you know anyone who might? Let's just say no. Okay, the police are unhelpful. Fine. No? Question mark? No. Lol, the M25, that's a highway, right? I think so? Okay. Now we're gonna do the microfiche thing. I'm determined. Go to the library and look through the microfiche files for news stories about people turning into birds. Wait, but he knows two... wait, but we know two people. I guess so. Go to the library, let's say with Yagishiri, just to make sure that the game doesn't forget about him. Go to the library with Yagishiri and look through the microfiche files for news stories about people turning into birds. The AI has already forgotten about it, seems like. Yeah. No, that's not a say. That's a do. You go to the library with Yagishiri and look through the microfiche files for news stories about people turning into birds. The librarian has a magnifying glass and is using it to study a butterfly. I'm afraid not, librarian, you say. Try the microfiche. I'm afraid not. Don't you look at that butterfly with a magnifying glass. You know what? I'll allow it. Search the microfiche. You search the microfiche files. Can we put a leash on Yag so he's always with us? We just have to keep mentioning him in every scene so the game doesn't forget about him. The librarian hands you a reader and a slip of paper with a PIN number. That should allow you to access to the microfiche. Please, find anything you can and read it to me. No. You search the microfiche files. The librarian hands you a reader with a small screen and some buttons. This is so advanced. I didn't think they invented this stuff yet, you say. Let's just see what she has to say to that. I'll allow that. I didn't think they invented this stuff yet. I have a feeling they didn't, Yagishiri says. You press a button, read it to her, lol. Let's try that one again. I have a feeling they didn't is not what we want. This is so advanced. I have an Epson super scanner over there that will allow you to search through more than 1 million pages of microfiche. Perfect. I have an Epson super scanner over there that will allow you to search through more than 1 million pages of microfiche, she says, gesturing behind you. That's perfect. That's exactly what we need. That's going to save us so much time. Oh my god. Use the Epson scanner. Well, Epson did make printers back in the day. I think that means that yeah, that checks out. Okay, use the Epson super scanner to search. We're gonna keep pushing for this. Search for news stories about people turning into birds. When is this book set again? I guess 1980. So it was written in 1975. The story takes place in 1980 for some reason, which is weird. No, but that can't be right. Yeah, I guess so. Because it's the brother went missing in 1969. So it's like 1979, I guess. But then it's somewhere else that said 1980. I don't know. Late 70s-ish. You plug in the reader and click on the first button. Nothing, the screen says. Try again, the librarian says. You try again, but still nothing. Let's, This game is blue balling me. Come on, we want to see the microfiche. The game's like, are you sure you want to look at the microfiche? Well, before you look at the microfiche, here's a machine that will allow you to look at 1 million microfiche. 1 million pages. but it's still not letting us do it. Okay. Do wish on, let's say search of our brother's case is related to people turning into birds. Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe a monster who can turn into a bird? Yeah, something like that. Focus. Okay. Let's say, take a deep breath and push the button one last time. This would happen in a movie. They press it once and it's like nothing. It's like, oh, we gotta try it again. Press it again. Still nothing. It's like, this time is gonna be it. This time it's gonna search the million pages of microfiche and find us what we're looking for. Please. Please. The microfiche reader beeps and a new screen pops up. No! There are no results for people turning into birds, the screen says. The librarian smiles at you. Let's try that one again, although that's very funny. With a beep, the screen turns blue and the microfiche begins to advance. You see nothing unusual. No, one more time. Come on. I'm not gonna walk away from here, game, without knowing what it is. The screen comes to life, and you see that your search found several matches. Here we go. Maybe just look for mysterious murders. I'm losing it. You see a brief report about a bank heist in San Antonio involving a teller who suddenly turned into a chicken and robbed the bank. That's somebody turning into a bird. That is what we were looking for. Somehow that's worse. Let's say advance to the next. Look at the next. We'll say read the next. Because it says there are several matches, right? Microfiche story. Hilarious, but worse. Let's ask a bird outside if is our brother. Okay. You read the next microfiche story. No, none of this is good. Okay, undo. Can I try that again? The microfiche reader beeps twice. You look up to see the librarian smiling down at you. Well done, you found what you were after, she says. What were we after? She's gonna tell us. The librarian's gonna explain everything to us. I can feel it in my bones. The name of the man who first reported the San Antonio bank heist. She answers, story. The man? Who is it? Who is it gonna be? Who's the guy who wrote the news story? It should be Damarani, or our brother, or maybe Yagashiri. Let's say Yagashiri? Okay. Why didn't he tell us? He came with us. We found a news story that he wrote about people turning into birds. He's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Let's say us. It should be us. Oh, that's mind-blowing. Like, we wrote the news story. There is time travel. It could be maybe us. I feel like it should be our brother, though, right? Maybe this is how he learned about the power of turning into a bird. Let's say the name, the author, the reporter. Let's make it the brother. The missing brother. Who wrote the article is your brother. Titus Crow. Oh, do you think that's why people are turning into birds? Do you think it's because the guy's name is Titus Crow? It was our brother and Damarani who turned into bird, right? Yeah. I bet that's what happened. I bet the crow... I don't know. We need to talk to Veronica, you say. She already left for the day. She's gone to her hometown for New Year's. Should be back around noon, the librarian says. The librarian does not know Veronica, but I like we need to talk to Veronica. Look up about crypto ventures in the 1800s. Oh, crypt ventures in the 1800s. It's a good idea, too, because we know that that's when it happened. Is your brother, Titus Crow. We need to talk to Veronica. Oh, you know what? Can we undo this and connect Veronica and Titus somehow with this news story? Because it's weird. We just find this weird article about... Okay, let's just say... We need to talk to Veronica. Let's retry that. I like how we got this bird plot probably way better than the book. Probably. You see the date of the article. It's from April 3rd, 1849. The librarian smiles again. Congratulations. You just became eligible to join the Junior Rangers. No. No. The San Antonio chicken robber. We're here now. The bank teller who turned into a chicken and robbed the bank. It's fine. This is where we are. This is where the story has gone. Please, I just want us to keep moving. The microfiche reader spits out a copy of the article. Okay, take the copy. We're gonna cross-reference this with Veronica. Take the copy of the article and head to Veronica's house. This didn't go as off the rails as I expected. We're trying pretty hard to keep ramming it back onto the rails. I mean, we did get the San Antonio chicken robber thing. Let's make sure that we pin that. That's pretty crucial. You found a news article written by your brother in 1849 describing a bank teller turning into a chicken and robbing a bank. Great. Good. That's correct, more or less. I think it was 1849. It's in the 1800s. Take the copy of the article and head to Veronica's house. She needs to see this. Oh, do we also want to look for articles about brothers going to a crypt? While we're here, that kind of makes sense. Okay, let's also do that. Use the microfiche, use the Epson Super Scanner. Use the Epson Super Scanner to search for stories about Titus. Let's look for more articles written by him, because if he wrote one news story, it stands to reason he might have written other ones as well, right? Articles written by Titus. Please. Please, AI, please. You search again and again and again and again. You see that this time you did not search the entire report. There you go, the librarian says. Your second no. We try again. As hilarious as it is that it said again so many times. You place the reader on the table and flick the scanner on. It whirs to life and begins quickly scanning through the microfiche. Nothing, the screen says. Let's try one more time. It really doesn't want us. The AI doesn't. Is trying to be vague about this. The librarian hands you the reader. Good luck, she says, and turns her attention back to the butterfly. You plug in the reader and search for articles written by Titus. Bingo. What did we get? You see several reports about more recent robberies in Austin and San Antonio, but none in Kansas City, your current location. I'm afraid they're all robberies, but they never do the same thing twice. That's funny. We're not in Kansas, though. You quickly flick through the articles until you find one that interests you. You see an article about a bank robbery in Missouri. The teller suddenly turned into a bird and escaped. Print out. There's all these bank robberies where people turned into birds. Good. Print out the article. Print out a copy of the article. And hand it to Yagashiri. Don't forget that he's here, game. God, what an epic quest we're on. The microfiche spits out the article and you read it. That's interesting, Yagashiri says. Yeah, it is, you agree. We need to check one about our brother on the crypt. Okay. Search for stories about Titus and Demarani in a crypt. What was the deal? What was the crypt thing? Gone way back. Maybe we should have pinned that. The birds. Into the catacombs. Why does the AI love bird bank robbers? Listen, nobody can say for sure. Okay. In the catacombs. Catacombs beneath Les Innocents. Alright. Let's see if we can find out anything else about them. The catacombs are extremely dark. No, that's not right. You look for a long time and find nothing. Do you think Damarni has something to do with this, you say? It's a possibility, Yagishiri says. I mean, to be fair, the bird bank robber thing only happened after we rejected like 6 responses. That's true. Maybe because we pinned the chicken robber? Oh, maybe that's why it's coming up again. Yeah. That's a good explanation for how we ended up at something so random, that we kept saying no, 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 no. And the AI is just like, all I have, the only thing that I have that's not vague is this weird story about a chicken robber. Let's do this. We look for a long time and find nothing. Do you think Damarni has something to do with this, you say? It's a possibility, Yagishiri says. Okay, we're going to take the articles. Take the printed articles. And go to Veronica's house. And take them to Veronica's house. So we're going back to her house. A motif is good, though, especially chicken robbers. Yeah. The AI is like J.J. Abrams. It's good at setting up the mystery, but hates to pay it off. It does seem that way, yeah. We know he does. He was down there with our brother. True. Yeah, he must know more about this. Oh, let's actually take them to, let's not take them to Veronica's house. Let's take them to Damarni in the hospital and confront him and say, what are these articles about people turning into birds and robbing banks? You also turned into a bird. Explain this. And take them to the hospital to show to Damarni. God help us. Oh, whatever. That's not a very well-written sentence, but we'll live with it. You take the stack of articles to Damarni's room. I see you brought me some more potential evidence, he says as he peruses the pages. Before he talks, give him like a bird trick show stage. Can you turn into a bird one more time? Let's say, what do you know? Let's say you haven't told us the whole truth. What's this? No. You haven't told us the whole truth, Damarni. Let's just say that. Can we ask why Da is sick? Oh, good question. Yeah, they pulled him out of the Thames. He had almost drowned. So I was kind of thinking that's why he was there. But we don't know how he ended up in the Thames. Maybe he was a bird and he fell in. Let's just ask him. How did you end up in the Thames? Anyway. We're questioning him. That question is for another time. Oh, really, AI? For now, okay, we're going to read this sentence, but we're going to reject this response. For now, let's examine these articles in hopes of finding something we can use against the wolf man. He turns the pages slowly and stops at an article and reads it. No, game. You're not gonna get me to take this vague response by slipping in a wolf man. That's a good idea, but it's not gonna work this time. My dear boy, I can't see that I am in any condition to be telling you the truth, and if I was, I wouldn't be here to begin with. That doesn't mean anything. Try again. Sees no articles on a niche personal event. You haven't told us the whole truth. Listen, but he didn't tell us about... He said he went back in time to the 1800s. You're right. I really can't recall. It's a long story. Should be like the catchphrase of AI Dungeon. Come on. A man of science, you mean? This game has no idea. Please. A man of science, you mean? I'll tell you that it's quite... Maybe we need to ask a more specific question. Although, how did you end up in the Thames is a pretty... How did you... Okay. I think that's fair. Let's do it like this. Let's copy this and let's phrase this more... Let's phrase this better. I think that's a good idea. Okay. How did you end up almost drowning? Drowning in the Thames, anyway. Ask what year it is. I don't think we ever specified it. That's fair, you're right. Because we haven't said... How can we just... Just by the way, what year is it? We assume it's the late 70s. But I don't think we wrote it in our thing at the beginning. We could just pin it. Do you want to just say it's 1979? It's 1979. Boom. Pin it. You haven't told us the whole truth, Damarni. How did you end up almost drowning in the Thames, anyway? Also, weren't you missing for 10 years? Damarni, turn into a bird again. How's the AI doing? We'll say it's doing pretty good. The girl, Veronica, found me, he says. She found you? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't explain how you ended up in the Thames. Also, it was somebody else. The newspaper exaggerated that part a bit, he says. Almost drowned. I could have sworn I was swimming. Swimming? There was no swimming involved. Okay, this doesn't make any sense. But only because the book is late 70s. If we pin it's 1979, we need to also pin Damarni and Titus were in 1800s. Good point. Yes, let's pin that too. He says there's no way to bring your brother back. He says he and your brother went back in time to the 1800s. There's no way to bring your brother back, but Damarni told you Damarni. Is that wrong? Damarni. No, why is it underlined now? Whatever. Told you to visit Titus's grave. Then we can question how they went back in time. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. The Thames was a dark black liquid, not nearly as deep as you think. The Thames isn't that deep, he says. It was winter. Stop. Game, you're killing me, AI. We'll try one more time. If we can't get an answer to this question, we'll ask him something else. Damarni laughs. Now why would I tell you that? The cops won't leave me alone. You cops won't leave me alone. You keep prying and prying. The less you know, the better off you'll be. They never said they went back in time. Just it was the 1800s. True. I mean, that is going back in time, isn't it? I guess you're right. Okay. I think that's a fair thing to nitpick. He says he and your brother. Okay, let's be more specific too. Visited the catacombs under La Innocente. That could mean that they are old, right? In the 1800s. Okay, I think that's fair because that leaves it more open. One more try, and then we ask him a different question. It's quite a long story, and for the sake of time, I'm afraid I can't go into all of the gory details, he says. Fine, we'll allow it. But our brother is 8, but we are their brother and 18, so what if we were trapped for years, preserved? I see, that's a different way it could go, yeah. It's quite a long story, for the sake of time, fine. He doesn't tell us how he fell into the Thames. How did you and my brother visit the catacombs in the 1800s? That's over, what, 100 years ago? And that should obviously be a question. He's not going to tell us, is he? He's not going to tell us. Visit the catacombs in the 1800s. That's over 100 years ago. The year is 1841, and I did not travel back to 1901, he says. Titus and I went there many times. It's part of our investigation into the occult. Oh, look at the AI. Remembered that. How is this possible? Should we just let him keep talking? Let's see what else he has to say. We took many photographs and made many notes. I've had them stored in my room for years. I have no idea why you would think otherwise, but if you have questions, you can ask them of me. Ask if our brothers in the past, and if the library technology is from the future. The Epson super scanner becomes like a pivotal plot point in this story. This is amazing. There's no way this is from this time period. We're gonna ask Damarni if we can examine his photographs and notes about. Yeah, let's just get out of here. Damarni can't help us. We need a clue. We need a clue to go on here. By all means, Damarni says, I'm eager to show you these. He leads you down the hall. Yeah, he gets up out of the hospital bed, whatever, and stops in front of the door on the left. I love how the AI made us say you thought it was from the future. True. I can't believe, I don't think this has been invented yet. He leads you down the hall and stops in front of a door on the left. Let's say, enter the door and pour over the notes and photos. Okay, so he and Titus used to always go to the 1800s to write newspaper stories about people turning into birds and robbing banks. Let's not forget that that happened. You enter the room and look at the photographs. They're all of the same location. A brick building with iron gates over large windows. He's like, we took many photographs. Here, come check them out. All of them are of the same building. Let's ask him. Ask Damarni what building is pictured in the photographs. Wait, we don't know if the reports were before or after the crypt. That changes a lot. True. Yeah, he just said the 1800s, right? And we know that the report is from like 1849 or something. This is the New Orleans Bank for Savings. It was closed for many years, but I was able to obtain the key and open the door. We used this method. We used this method to enter the building. Oh, this method of using the key to open the door? That's a pretty crazy method. Okay, the bank is our next clue. We're gonna go to the bank. Hop on a plane. We're getting out of here. Let's go to Veronica's house and ask if she wants to come with us, and then we'll get on the plane, with or without her. Go to Veronica's house with Yagashiri. My God, I just used the advanced key technique to get into my house. That's a pretty advanced method. It's gotta be said. This game is like, the AI is so amazed by like grabbing somebody's wrist and using a key to enter a door. With Yagashiri, and ask if she wants to travel to New Orleans with us. Will it figure that out? It might not, like, with you. Yeah, okay. Should have asked, if it was before then, our brother might have turned them into birds. After then, he pinned down the mystery to the crypts. Should have asked, TBH. Oh, yeah, probably. I'm sorry, Veronica says, but I'm not very good at solving crimes, and I'm certainly not equipped for such an extended journey. Okay. Fine. Veronica, short or long for Jane, you stay here. We're gonna say, grab Veronica's wrist one last time for old time's sake, then leave. You grab Veronica's list for one last time for old time's sake, then leave. Pin this bank. Good call. Yes. Thank you for your help, you say, and thank you for giving me another reason not to go to Paris. You're welcome, she says, as you break her grip. I can't believe Veronica traveled here as well. Oh my God. Okay. Yes. And robbing a bank. Damarni will say, Damarni says he traveled to the 1800s with your brother and pin the many photos of it. Yeah, good call. With Titus many times and took with Titus and took many photos frequently. Often? Many times? Many times. It makes sense that an AI would be fascinated by these tiny aspects of the physical world it can never experience. You put a key in a lock? You grabbed her wrist? Oh, poor AI. It's longing to exist in the material world. With Titus many times, and took a lot of photos. When you asked to see the photos, they were all pictures of a bank in New Orleans. They're all pictures of a bank in New Orleans. Demarni, what did he say? Some nonsense about using a key to go in? It's closed for many years. Let's just say the bank was closed for many years. Closed for many years. But Demarni was able to get the key. Fine. Demarni sounds kind of insane. In a hospital bed, he turned into a bird, and he was like, we have so many pictures, and they were all the same. Yeah. Okay. I assume that we got the key. Also, we forgot to question Veronica on her lies. It's fine. Veronica we're leaving her behind. She can't help us now. But at least, listen, she helped us, and she gave us another reason not to go to Paris. But then you gotta ask yourself, did she help us? What did we learn from her? Just that she knew the brother? Did she actually say anything useful? I don't think that she did. I think that that Veronica did nothing. She said she was a police officer, but she wasn't really a police officer. We thanked her for her help and for giving us another reason not to go to Paris. Can we ask the bank teller if anyone here have turned into birds? This is a good idea. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do travel with Yagashiri to New Orleans. Oh, it's a globe-trotting adventure. I love it. And visit. She was at the grave, Sussy. Yeah, maybe she'll come back in the picture still. And visit the New Orleans Bank for Savings. Boom. Okay, we're skipping ahead. New chapter. Wait, why did Marnie show us the photos again? He wanted us. He said we asked him about going back in time, or we asked him about the 1800s, and he's just like, oh yeah, I used to go with your brother all the time, and we took tons of photos. You travel to the bank in a horse-drawn carriage. Your entourage follows behind at a discreet distance. Let's try that one again. Too many new things. You travel by taxi to the bank and step out into the humid heat of the Louisiana morning. Nice. Hello, a deep voice says from behind a thick glass window. Is somebody working at the bank? It's the teller, right? It's gotta be. I feel baffled. A deep voice says from behind it, how may I help you? You step to the glass and look at the man behind it. Let's say, my friend Yagashiri and I, don't let the game forget, and we're gonna lie a little bit. If we fib, is it gonna really confuse the AI? If we try to make a cover story for why we're looking into this? We took a plane here, met Veronica, and then went to the bank. Well, we didn't see Veronica, right? We went to Veronica's house to ask her to come with us, and she said she wouldn't do it. And then we went to New Orleans without her. My friend Yagashiri and I are trying to learn more about the history of this bank. Did anyone ever transform into a bird here? Wait, why did you want Veronica? Just because I didn't want to leave her behind in the story. I wanted to keep her involved. I'm trying to keep all these pieces together as much as we can, so that the AI doesn't forget about them. Bank history, super interesting. Listen, the teller puts a well-worn leather-bound book from a shelf and begins to leaf through it. Let me just check. Did anyone here ever turn into a bird? Let me just check the old leather book where we write down if anybody turned into a bird. Let's just flip through this. Ah, here we are. Transformation. Yes. Several. A woman, a little girl, a fetus. The teller looks up and smiles at you. A history book in a bank. Lol. Oh, we asked him this crazy question. He's like, yeah, a lot of people have turned into birds here. A woman did, a little girl, a fetus turned into a bird. How did they know? How did they know that the fetus turned into a bird? Ask if it's common Yeah, that's a good idea. Ask if it's common in the 1800s. You seem pretty casual about it. Was it common for people the fetus turn into birds here in the 1800s? A fetus. A fetus turned into a bird, obviously. Pin this information. Good call. Yeah. Oh, maybe we should do it before we... Only during Mardi Gras. All right, game. All right, AI, we get it. You know it's New Orleans. Most of the banks are closed during that time, but this one was open, so we went in. Okay, let's we'll retry that, but first let's pin this information. That's a good idea. Oh my god. I'm loving this. Okay. But DeMarney was able to get the key. What is Mardi Gras? Mardi Gras is a big... Oh, I guess you wouldn't know in the UK necessarily. It's Fat Tuesday, so it's supposed to be during like the week leading up to Easter. Why retry? That was a good response. Okay, I do like that it's Mardi Gras. Why did I want to change it? This one was open, so we went in. Very big in New Orleans. Yeah, so it's a big party in the United States the week before Easter on a Tuesday. And it's huge in New Orleans. Very big. People wear masks and stuff. And it's a big party in the streets. Okay. Let's say can we edit? I like the detail that it's only during Mardi Gras, but let's edit out this part where he says that he went into the bank, because that doesn't make any sense. But I like the idea that people in New Orleans turn into birds during Mardi Gras. Also, was somebody turned into a bird in San Antonio? That's a separate thing. Okay, the bank was closed for many years, but DeMarney was able to get the key. We say, many people have turned into birds at the bank, but only during Mardi Gras. And people turn into birds IRL as well, right? Yes, yeah, but only during Mardi Gras. Great. Bank, let's say including a fetus. Although I worry that if we put the word fetus in the notes, it's gonna do stuff with fetuses, but that's fine. Including a fetus, including a woman, a girl, and a fetus, but only during Mardi Gras. No, he said in the 1800s, not in the, bank. Oh, you're totally right, yep. Turn into birds in the 1800s, but only during Mardi Gras. Good catch. Okay, and let's edit this. Most banks, but this one was open. Can we just end it there? I don't think a bank would be closed on Mardi Gras, but maybe in New Orleans. Maybe in New Orleans the bank would be closed on Mardi Gras. I could believe it. Asking people still commonly turn into birds. Good idea. Is it still common today? Does it still happen? Let's say, does that sort of thing still happen today? That might be too vague, but we'll try it. If the AI doesn't know what we talk about, we'll be more specific. No, it doesn't. People don't turn into birds anymore, but there have been a few reports of people turning into random things. We're not interested in random things, only birds. Tell us more about the birds. Let's say... Will this bank teller know where we can learn more about people turning into birds? Okay, this is the problem. We keep chasing clues, right? About people turning into birds. And we kind of get more information, but none of it is really bringing us closer to knowing why our brother is missing. Yeah, we have cases of people turning into a wardrobe, a spatula. This bird turned into a fetus? I don't know. We'll ask. Should we ask? That's nonsense. People turning into random things, that's crazy. People only turn into birds, and only in the 1800s. Except for DeMarney, we saw him do it in his hospital room in London, just like last week. People don't turn into birds anymore, but there have been a few reports of people turning into random things. Where can I learn more? We shouldn't just say that. Okay. Where do we go from here? How do we bring this back around to our brother? Let's ask. Have you ever heard of Titus Crow? Or Henri DeMarney? Remember, his name is Henri. Just ask. Maybe they're famous here. We need to dig into the crypt. It happened. Ask when people started turning into birds and if it's related to the catacombs. Oh, maybe that's a better idea. Oh, is that why they brought up Paris? Because we talked about the catacombs? It must be. That must be why the game was like, oh, Paris. Another reason not to go to Paris. Let's ask about Titus Crow or Henri de Marigny. Oh, yeah. Crow? No, I'm pretty sure I never heard of him. You would have been about your brother's age, I'd guess. No shit, he is our brother. Never heard of de Marigny, no. Let's try that again. Your brother? I'm going to be jealous if the AI actually goes along with your idea. Ugh. The teller squints at you. I don't believe that name, but I'm not sure of the spelling. Crow is a fairly common name. Actually, that's fair. Crow I would usually expect... Oh, Titus Crow? No, sorry. De Marigny? I think so. Let me look. The teller pulls a large, thick binder from a shelf and begins to leaf through it. They have all these books on the shelf. Why are we asking? They took photos here. Yeah, that's true. I'm just trying to like railroad it back to something that we can relate to the rest of the story. But you're right, it is a little redundant for us to ask that. Here we are, the teller says. He was a regular here in the 1800s. I remember him well, do you? There he is in a photo with his brother. That's us! We're going to remove I remember him well, but otherwise I really like this response. The catacombs feels like a good place to investigate. Yeah, let's make sure that we hit there next. With his brother. Do. Story. Let's do story. You look at the photo. That's crazy, right? If it's us. You look at the photo. It's a picture of you standing at the bank with your brother, Titus. That's spooky. You've never been there before. You look at the photo. It's a photo of you standing at the bank with your brother Titus. He looks very young in the picture. You're pretty sure you were at least 10 years old at the time. That's him? That's him? Yes, let's try that one again. We need to ask first if the birds started transforming around the catacombs. Yeah, we need to link those things together again. That's incredible, you say. What? What's incredible? The teller asks in a thick southern drawl. He doesn't recognize us in the picture. Where he's like looking at a picture of the person that he's talking to. What's so incredible about that? Can't you see? See? That's a picture. Oh, wait. No, I'm wrong. He's in the photo with his brother. This doesn't make sense. I've done this wrong. Because de Marigny is in the picture with his brother. That doesn't quite work, does it? Can I... Let's edit this. Can I not undo this again? Shoot. Okay, let's fix this up. This is a photo. There he is in a photo. With his brother. Okay. I can fix this. I can fix this. You look at the photo. It's a picture of, we'll say, de Marigny. Say, so it's 1889, right? Been 8 years. Standing at the bank with your brother, Titus. That's not his brother. That's my brother. Titus Crow. Okay, so it's a picture of them in the 1800s. It's confirmed. They were at this bank in the 1800s, apparently. Oh boy. Which we already knew. Okay. We got to get this back on the rails. Okay. Let's just straight up ask if this place has any connection to the catacombs. Does this bank have any connection? It could. Yeah, it's France, New Orleans. They're related. Louisiana. Does this bank have any connection to the catacombs at Les Innocents? I don't know how to say this. Just ask. Just get it back on the rails. Let's do it. There's a tunnel. Stop. There's not a tunnel from New Orleans to Paris. No, ask if the bird cases started happening around the catacombs. Oh, okay, you want to do that? Okay, I'm on board for that. Yeah. Did the bird cases... Did the bird? Yeah, good call. Bird transformation cases start around the catacombs? Okay, we effed it up a little bit there, but we're trying to fix it. I don't know, the teller says. I wasn't there in the 1800s, but they did some damage, and that's where the stench is coming from. Try again, AI. Good idea. Yes, they did. That's where all the cases took place, and where the two men are said to have gone. It's a very old, very creepy, and very dark portion of the city. We gotta go there. This music is repeating? I believe it. Oh, it's supposed to be 7 hours of Halloween music. I guess they didn't specify 7 hours of non-looping Halloween music. Are we okay with this answer? He says all the cases took place in the catacombs, which are... This is in Paris, no? I could be wrong. Let's try one more time. Sorry, we are doing this. Yes, there was one in the early 1900s, a vagrant vampire, but fortunately the poor fellow was caught and killed. Let's try one more time. Are we being too picky? Yes, they did. There's a few theories on why it started there. Some say it was cursed or haunted, while others say that the voodoo priest simply cursed the entire area. Ask if all the cases at the bank visited the catacombs before. Okay, did any of the people who turned... it's also on Mardi Gras, which is a weird thing that we kind of are just letting slide. They did. We got to get out of this conversation. There's a few theories on what started there. Some say, tell her about the guy who cursed our brother. We don't know. Wait, is our brother cursed? There's a few theories on why it started there. Some say it was cursed or haunted, while others say that the voodoo priest simply cursed the entire area. Let's try it one more time. That was a good answer, but ask someone from here was buried in the crypts. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, training the AI. I don't know what you're talking about. We haven't had any reports of that happening, or the teller looks puzzled. No, why? You explained your strange encounter with Damarani. Yeah, and maybe we can try to connect it with that people being buried in the crypts. What a strange coincidence, the teller says. Please. Coincidence. Or please, teller. I too have encountered Damarani, and he mentioned something about his brother, Titus. No, incorrect. It seems that he and the other members of the secret group were in need of money. Please, we gotta get out of here. We're super stuck. I too have met them. They were here doing research a couple of months ago. Yagashiri hasn't... Oh, that's me. The AI is too confused. The teller pulls a large flash drive from his pocket and plugs it into a USB port on the counter. One more try. And then we just leave. I used to live at the Innocence, you know. I was a guard there. I was at the prison when the bodies of Yagashiri... No, that doesn't make sense. We're pushing it too far. I too was a witness to the transformation. Do you mean you know what actually happened? We'll just tell him what to say in a second. There was another incident there you might want to look into. Let me show you this. He pulls another another book from the shelf and turns to a page. See this picture? The picture depicts a man turning into a peacock outside the catacombs. The bank robbers. Okay, we gotta fix this. This is the same area where your brother disappeared. Now his girlfriend claims she saw him being turned into a chicken. Do you think it could have happened there? Are we being too picky? We might be being too picky. That's the same bank! Ask if the crypts were related to Sans people being buried there, especially magical people. Yes, the teller says. That was taken just out after midnight outside the catacombs. A strange man was seen running from the area. Can you guess what he was doing here? Let's just remove that question, but I like that he was running from the area. We'll say... No, you say. The teller turns another page. This. The teller laughs. No. You're supposed to undo this. Edit, remove. Can you tell what they were doing there? A strange man was seen running from the area. Okay. Are the crypts? Let's just ask. Let's just ask and let the AI hopefully tell us yes. Are the crypts related? Or let's say were any relatives, or were any of the people? Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Who turned into birds? Buried in the catacombs? I don't think they really do that anymore, but the teller looks down at his book again. No, he says, they all turned into their normal state after the incidents. You'll have to look for your friend's grave. We already did this. One more try. The teller looks at you. No, sorry, he says. Don't say no, game. Say yes. Just say yes, and then we can go there. Is it possible to see the book, you ask? The teller smiles. Oh, no, sorry. Most of the cases are completely unrelated. There's no pattern. I'm not sure they allow people to read other people's books, the teller says. You should ask them. I'm sorry I can't be of more help to you. Let's do this. The teller hands you the book. I meant because it's on that event, we should ask if it's related to, what do you mean by Sans people being buried there? From Sans was buried in the crypt. You've said Sans a few times, but I'm not quite sure what you mean by it. Oh, the state it's common in. Oh, in San Antonio. Right. The teller smiles, we'll say, and hands you the book. How's that? Well, okay, fine. Search the book for clues. It has to just give us a clue, right? If we search the book for clues. The teller points to a selection of text and reads it aloud. Come on. The year is 1872, and what a strange year it is. Mold has broken out all over Europe, and there is talk of riots in Canada. We gotta hear more of this. The American Civil War has ended. Yeah, okay. But there are still several major battles being fought in the East. The year is a strange one, but it is going to beget many a strange tale. Let's just keep reading this. I just want to know what this weird journal entry in this book is. Now, let's have a look at the pictures. You flip the book until you reach the section that deals with 1872. Here we are, the teller says. The year was 1872. There was a series of robberies in Canada. They all used the same modus operandi. The teller would abruptly disappear, and when the money was collected, the teller would turn up safe and sound. I don't know. We're getting into bank robbing stuff. What do we want to do? Should we just, let's say, that doesn't seem, what does that have to do with my brother? To do with my brother. I think Yagashiri. I think we should go to the catacombs. All of the clues are pointing there. Look, we're forcing it a little bit, but yeah, it's what you gotta do. The teller frowns. There's a connection, but it's rather hazy, the teller says. Say in 1872, say Canada had many cases of banks robbed by mysterious bird-transformed people. What is the bird-transforming thing? Ugh. Yagashiri's brother is a suspect in this 1872 robbery cases. The reason why is rather unclear. No. There's a connection, but it's rather hazy. There's a woman who went missing in the 1800s, and there's a woman turning up safe and sound in the 1970s, and a man turning into a bird and back again in the 1800s. Oh my god, who's this woman? Oh, say in 1872. Oh, and pinned? Okay. Yeah, we'll pin that. This game won't let the time travel thing go. Yeah. In 1872, Canada had many cases of banks robbed by mysterious bird transformed people. Something about turning into a bird just really makes people want to rob a bank. You know, it's just one of those things. Who is this woman? Where can we find her? Please don't say nobody knows, or it's a long story, or anything like that. The teller glanced at the picture on the page, and then at you. The woman's name is Veronica, he says. Dun, dun, dun. Pin it. Pin it. This is a development. I love this twist. Veronica. What did she do? Went missing in the 1800s and turned up safe and sound in the 1970s. Also, a man turned into a bird and back again in the 1800s. Make eye contact. Make meaningful eye contact with Yagashiri. I see you're playing a bit of AI Dungeon, eh? Yeah! Escape Bird is unfinished because they had to scrap the bird robber level for legal reasons from the Chalk Society. A cultured one, I see. Oh, yeah! We're, oh my god. Vasconcelos. This is a good moment to summarize this mystery so far. Oh my god. Where to begin? So, our brother is named Titus Crow. He went missing 10 years ago along with his friend Henri de Marigny. Okay? The wrist grab woman is the key to everything. So 10 years ago, both of these guys went missing in a huge thunderstorm. Then, de Marigny, the other guy who isn't our brother, showed up in the River Thames in England. And he was like almost drowned. He was like clinging onto a buoy. So we went and visited him, and he turned into a bird. And everybody was pretty chill about that. He told us that we couldn't get our brother back. He's like, you can't do it. Give up. You're not going to be able to do it. But if you need more information, is it confusing to ask that? If the Chalk Society is related to any of these cases? Oh, we should maybe try to bring it up. Yeah, because that's a nice thing, that we belong to this weird occult group. Okay. So he's like, go to your brother's grave if you want more answers. So we went to the grave for our brother, because he's been missing for 10 years, so that he was presumed dead. And there were fresh flowers at the grave. And we talked to the grave digger, and he was like, oh, there was this woman with a weird mark on her forehead who was just here leaving the flowers. And we bribed him, and he somehow knew where this woman lived. So we went to her house, and this woman's name is Veronica, we found out, which AI Dungeon assures us is either short or long for Jane. This woman wouldn't give us very much information. She didn't want to talk at her house, so we went to a pub. She didn't really tell us anything, meaningful. She said she was part of the police, but we went to the police station and they were like, no, we don't know this woman. We don't know who you're talking about. So we went to the library and tried to learn more about people turning into birds, because that seemed very strange to us that somebody turned into a bird. And we found a story about a man in San Antonio in Texas who turned into a chicken and then robbed a bank. And we were like, that's really weird. And we found some other stories. Oh no, but crucially, the reporter who reported on this story, which is from an old newspaper written in the 1800s, was our brother, Titus Crow, wrote the story about the man turning into a chicken and robbing a bank, okay? So, we're like, that's crazy. We gotta ask de Marigny about this. What's the deal here? So we went back to the hospital where de Marigny is still convalescing after almost drowning. And we showed him these newspaper articles, and he's like, "Oh, the 1800s? Me and your brother Titus Crow, we used to go there all the time, and I took tons of pictures while we were there." And so we're like, "That's a really weird thing to say." Let's see those photos. And so we go and we look at these photos, but they're all pictures of this one building, which is a bank in New Orleans. And so we hopped on a plane with our friend Yagashiri, who has been here the whole time, but really has not done anything. And we went to the bank and had a long and confusing conversation with the bank teller, where he's like, "Oh yeah, people turn into birds all the time, but only on Mardi Gras. That's the only time that ever really happens." And he's like, "Oh, the bank also has like some records or like some old books with photos." And we went through them, and it was confusing and kind of stupid. But eventually he was like, "Look, here's a story about a woman who went missing in the 1800s, and then she turned up safe and sound in the 1970s. Which is kind of like what happened to Damarani, right? Went missing in 1969 and showed up in the 70s. And we said, "What's the woman's name?" And he says, "Her name is Veronica, who's the woman that we met before in London." So we got to go back to London. We gotta blast Veronica with this information. Maybe we should just call her. It seems like a long way to go. But yeah. Let's see what else. I said with our brother, he and our brother went in a crypt. They were turned into a bird. That's true. Sorry, yeah. They went to the catacombs, some catacombs, and got turned into a bird. Can we question Veronica? But if she doesn't respond, cook her into a pigeon pie. What else? Oh, okay. In the library, we got an advanced reader and said, "I don't think this has been invented yet." That just seemed like a weird thing. Pierre Bizzle, you forgot our first conversation with Damarani. We find out they were turned into birds by being transformed into them in the catacombs. Right. Check back to see how again. Right. Let's actually look at that real quick. That's a good call. Let's just peek at that again, because that is an important piece of information. Oh my god. Titus and I went into the catacombs beneath Les Innocents during the Great Disturbance, whatever that is, of the 18th century, which is actually the 1700s, but we'll let it slide. I think that I wrote down the wrong thing. While we were there, strange things were happening. The dead rose and performed terrible deeds. It was then that Titus and I first began to experience strange changes also. And then he said he can turn into a bird. Right. We started transforming into birds and then reverted back to our human forms. Yeah. Also, I say we cook Veronica into a pigeon pie still. Well, she has to turn into a bird for us to turn her. She's never done that. All that Veronica has done is not tell us information. That's Veronica, he says. Okay, go back to the hotel and call Veronica. We're going back to the hotel where we're staying. You go back to the hotel and call Veronica. Oh, I forgot to read this. You make meaningful eye contact with Yagashiri. Yagashiri appears nervous. Yagashiri looks down and then glances at the teller, and then the teller gestures, I think that's supposed to be, to the picture. That's Veronica, the teller says. Okay, you go back to the hotel and make a call to Veronica. Hello, she says, sounding a bit out of breath. Veronica, it's me, Marcus. Quick fix. We almost got it. The undead doing rituals are changing people into birds as something we should pin. Okay, I'll pin that. The story is kind of confusing, but it's still better than my paladin who went on an adventure to find a scroll but died because he tripped on an altar somehow. Oh, you hate to see it. Okay, yeah, let's pin that. I'm in agreement. He and your brother visited the catacombs, where the dead rose and performed terrible deeds. Let's say Damarani says he and your brother visited the catacombs under Les in the 1800s. Fine, we'll allow it, even though he said the 18th century. That was my mistake. Performed terrible deeds. After that happened, he and your brother started transforming into birds and reverting to their original forms. Is that good? Do we like this? And then reverting. There's no way to bring your brother back. Damarani says, Damarani says, there is no way to bring your brother back, but Damarani told you to visit Titus's grave. Boom. What I just realized, since we know this, like, half the shit was pointless. Yeah. Veronica, it's me, Marcus.
You need to... When were you born? When were you really born, Veronica? We should also mention people who turn into birds can change into a bird at will. That does seem to be a true. And there's a series of bank robberies. Oh, do you want to pin that? Yeah, that's fair. Okay, let's put that in. Yeah, because we kind of took that out. It was sort of in there before. Damarni can turn into a bird at will now. Boom. Damarni says there's no way to bring your brother back, but he told you to visit Titus's grave. Boom. Got it. When were you really born, Veronica? When were you really born? Man, this pin feature is very handy. It's kind of nice for like a mystery story to like pin the clues and stuff that we get. What? She says, a bit startled. In 2004? We're gonna re-request that one, but that is funny. What's it to do with anything? You explain that you believe your brother is still alive, and Veronica gets excited. I kind of like that. We should have. Let's. What? I was born on February 28th, 1975. That means she was born this year. I know, but when were you really born? I told you earlier. I was born on January 1st, 1975. Get your story straight, Veronica. Retry. What? She said, surprised. When were you really born, Veronica? I was born the day my father graduated college, she says. So you were born in 1992. Doubt. We caught her in a lie. Let's change this to 1852. There you go. It kind of feels like a real mystery we're working out, but we're also writing in a bit, and then strange shit happens. Yeah, we're railroading it pretty hard. Born 3 years later from now. 1852 is when she was born. F it. Do? You gasp. In shock. Oh, I guess it's supposed to be I gasp in shock. Whatever. That's only 8 years after my brother was born. How is that even possible, you say? Can you turn into a bird and fly? No, I'm a normal human. No. I know, Veronica says, sounding a little annoyed. It's a long story. Are you okay, you say, your voice dropping almost to a whisper? Let's let her say. Ask how we're only 18, but our brother is over 100. Worth finding out. I'm fine, she says, with a touch of an East Indian accent. What's wrong? You take a deep breath. I'm in love with you. You say, oh. Oh, no. The O. Tell the I the next time it says, it's a long story. It's getting a shock. Yeah, we need to do some kind of avoidance therapy here. No. Are you okay, you say? What? Oh, sure, of course. Why are you whispering? No, that's not it. I'm pretty shocked. Oh, I know. One more time. What? Why? She sounding a bit put out. Just, concerned for you. Okay, that's fine, she says, a bit put out. East Indian accent. Let's try something different. I'm fine. You say I'm in the middle of something, but can we talk later? You don't... Okay, it's getting... The AI's getting confused. I'm fine, but what, you say, noticing that Yagishiri is standing directly behind her. She's in London. We're in New Orleans. Never mind, Veronica says. Okay, let's say... Let's say behind you. Yagishiri's standing right behind me. Is that better? We need to ask how our brother's over 100 years old, but we're 18. Okay. She was born in 1852. But our brother isn't definitely 100 years old, but he might be. This is worth finding out. How do you really know? Say. How did you meet my brother? We don't know that she knew my brother. You did know my brother, didn't you? At some point, we need to cook a bird person into a pigeon pie. I would love to do this. You did know my brother, didn't you? You left flowers at his grave. His grave, and also, you were born in the 1800s. I know you're not really a cop. This feels like something that the AI would write to us. No, he was in pictures with Demarini and in the catacombs in the 1800s. Veronica sighs. I knew your brother, but I didn't really know him all that well. Veronica explains. No, she said she knew him? Oh, okay. But she just wouldn't tell us? Sounding a bit too weary to continue this conversation, he was a very strange man. I knew him since I was born, and he was always a very good student, and a rather good-looking man. Say, cut to the chase, Veronica. Did she say she knew him? I felt like we would have pinned that. Well, when I was born, he was a kid. And he came to visit my family, and he really liked my father. Go on. Do we... Okay, ask Veronica if she is a bird. We'll do that next. Let's hear what she has to say about this, and then we'll ask her straight up if she can turn into a bird. He fell in love with me, and I really loved him, and we were really good friends. What? Let's try that one more time. Where is he now, you say, knowing that there is only one grave that fits your brother's description? The one with his name on it. The two really hit it off, so they got married, and... No, he didn't marry her dad. He really liked my father. The AI is like, please, I don't know what to do. So he offered to take me out to his farm, and I ended up staying there for many years. My father died when I was young, and I ended up moving back to New Orleans. And I never left. You are in London. It doesn't make sense. One more try, and then we'll just write something. My father was a very strange man, and he could be extremely cruel to others. And he liked to experiment on animals. Loved, good friends, when the historian writes about a gay couple. Yeah, they were just good friends. They were just... Are you talking about birds? Do you mean to tell me that your father experimented on birds? Is that... Okay, and this will pin, whatever her answer is here. Yes, Veronica says, sounding tired. Wait, what? What kind of experiment? He injected some poison. He injected some kind of poison into a chicken to see how long it would take for it to kill the bird. That's not an experiment. Okay, pin it. Veronica knew Titus. Titus and her father were friends. Veronica's father performed experiments, was a cruel man. A cruel man who performed experiments on birds. We're getting closer to the truth, I can feel it. Or maybe we're just going around and around and around in circles. Veronica. I need you to tell me the truth now. Can you turn into a bird? 2. Ask if Titus's father ever experimented on human bodies and the undead in the catacombs. Oh, because the dead were coming back. Yeah, that's confusing. To be honest now, can you turn into a bird too? Please say yes. No, she says flatly. Why? Because I am a human and I don't turn into a bird. Oh, let's... I'm okay, fine. She has some problem with the bird people. Anyway, I was telling you, my father had a habit of killing the chickens he injected to see if the chicken would die. What happened? My father was very cruel. What did he do to the birds, Veronica? This is all happening. We're in the hotel room with Yagashiri standing directly behind us, talking to her on the phone. What did he do to the birds, Veronica? Birds after he poisoned them. Oh my god, it's becoming a spooky mystery! He would dissect the birds' organs to see how the poison was affecting them, I suppose. What happened to the birds? Veronica sighs. Wait, it was her father. Didn't she say it was Titus's father? Good question. Let's double check that. I think it was her father. I knew him since he was born. He was a rather good-looking man. He came to visit my family, and he really liked my father. Yeah, my father was a very strange man. It's her dad. The experiment went wrong. Something like a chickenpox virus, and the poison killed the birds. You're telling me that the birds died in this experiment to poison birds and see how long it would take them to die? Oh! Okay. We'll just say, if she doesn't say something useful after this, we'll just say Damarani said the thing about... Okay, let's fix this. Let's undo. And we'll just say, Damarani told me he saw the dead come back to life at the catacombs. Okay, we need to connect this to the catacombs because that will be where it ends, right? I think so, yeah. Oh, I like us having our big final, conclusive scene at the catacombs. Damarani told me he saw the dead come back to life at the catacombs in the 1800s. And that afterward, he was able to turn into a bird. He and my brother, let's just say he, was able to turn into a bird. He and Titus turned into birds. Able to transform into birds. Are your father's experiments connected in any way? That's a little on the nose, but I just don't think the AI will get there if we don't, if we're not really obvious about it. I don't think we find our brother. You don't think so? He's going to be missing forever? We'll have to see. We'll have to see where the story goes. It's very exciting. Veronica thinks for a moment. No, it probably wasn't, but it's possible. Do you think it could be connected to what happened to your brother? Say, I'm sure of it. Meet me in Paris. Veronica, we're going to the catacombs. I love how we turned this missing story into the bird story. We're trying so hard to keep it on the rails. Veronica sighs. If you're going to Paris, then I'm going to Paris. Are you coming to the catacombs, or do I have to drag you there myself? Let's try that one again. The what? The catacombs. It's where they store all the bones of the dead. We need to investigate this. Do you know where the entrance is? We'll figure it out when we get there. I'm sure we can find a tour guide or something. Remember how it only happens on Mardi Gras? It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm sure we can find a tour guide or something. Veronica nods slowly. I guess you're right. We should do this. I'll meet you in Paris. You begin walking. We're just gonna walk from Louisiana to Paris. Do. Hop on another plane. Do. Hang up the phone. Let's just remove the you begin walking. That's preposterous. Hang up the phone and ask Yagashiri. What is his name? Yagashiri? Yeah. We should quickly ask if San Antonio people were buried there. Oh, maybe. We'll ask when we get to France. Hang up the phone and ask Yagashiri if he'll come with you. Come with me to Paris. You hang up the phone and ask Yagashiri if he'll come with you to Paris. I don't want to be in conversations. I'm sorry about my friend, you say to Yagashiri. Retry. We're going to Paris, aren't we? Yagashiri asks. Yes, you say, a bit surprised that he would ask so bluntly. I suppose we should go. Boom, let's go. We're going to Paris. Hop aboard another plane. The next flight. To Paris. And meet up with Veronica. We're gonna find out how this is all connected. It's all coming together. I'm sure there's no way the AI will keep dragging it out and refusing to be specific about anything. You and Yagashiri walk from the airport and take a cab to the train station. You board the train and Yagashiri pays the driver. Okay. Call. How are we gonna meet Veronica? It's 19... Okay, let's ask this question seriously. It's 1979. You planned to meet your friend in Paris. How do you two meet up? We're gonna call Veronica's hotel. Call the hotel. Not gonna lie, this didn't go off the rails as expected by quite a lot. It's good. We want to keep it focused. We're trying to tell we're trying to fix this book. We're trying to tell the real story of the transition of Titus Crow. The transition is him transitioning from send a pigeon messenger is a great idea. We are going to do that. It's him transitioning from a man into a bird and back again. And also maybe being trapped in the 1800s. We're going to send... Oh, no. What if we get a messenger pigeon? A messenger pigeon flies into the... through the window into your... Oh, it flies through the train window and lands in your lap. And also going to a bank. You open the message and see a photo of a bank. The writing on the photo reads, Monsieur, you must visit the bank tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We still don't really know why they were at that bank, lol. Some mysterious person has sent us a pigeon messenger to tell us to go to the bank. Drop off my bags at the hotel. Then go to the cafe to meet up with Veronica. I don't want to have a conversation with Veronica, but fine. You drop off your bags at the hotel. Oh, we need to pin this. That's important. We need to pin a lot of things. We've been getting lazy about this. Okay. Pin. We're leaving the catacombs. Another bank, lol. It's fine. Veronica, Yagashiri, and you meet up in Paris to investigate the catacombs, a carrier pigeon from an unknown sender told you to visit the bank tomorrow at 2 o'clock. You pick up your bags and head to the hotel. The room is tiny, but it is quaint and clean. A young woman is sitting behind the counter. She is reading a book titled, Say You Wonder If Person Will Turn Into Bird and Rob This Cafe. God, that would be a good lead. Oh, she's reading a book titled Body Language. That's a good name for a book, actually. She looks up at you and smiles. Hello, can I help you? Yes, I'd like a cup of coffee, please. I don't want to talk to this person at the hotel. So what we're gonna do is... She's reading a book called Body Language, and that's just a fun detail. Boom. Go to the cafe to meet with Veronica. So we need to tell... Okay, this is what we gotta do before we get into another long conversation with a character that goes nowhere and just goes in circles and introduces new bird robberies in different parts of the world. Let's have an agenda. Our agenda here is We're going to go talk to Veronica. We're going to tell her that we need to go to the bank and that we need to go to the catacombs. And that's it. We're going to tell her about the pigeon. That's the agenda. Do it. You go to the cafe to meet with Veronica. Can I suggest Pathologic 2 soundtrack for background music? I don't want to fuss with the background music. Let's just leave it alone for now. I know it's repeating and stuff, but I just don't want to, since we've got it kind of set up, I don't want to be like doing audio levels and stuff during the stream. You walk into the cafe and take a seat at one of the tables. There's a small man with a strange mark on his forehead sitting at the table next to you. He asks for the check. She has a strange mark on her forehead too. So let's say story. The mark looks exactly like the one on Veronica's forehead. We're just putting that in. We're putting that in. We're contributing. You go to the counter and ask the woman to bring the check. Are you looking at me? The woman asks sharply. No. Incorrect. Excuse me, the man says. Would you mind turning on the TV? The waiter is standing behind you, so you turn on the small black and white TV set on the counter. Story, look, we're just going to make this happen. Veronica enters the cafe. Orders a coffee and sits across from you. Yagashiri is not in the scene for the first time ever. He's not standing silently by. So, she says, tell me about this mark. It looks like a target of some sort. No. She orders a coffee and sits across from you. Why would there be a mark on Veronica's forehead? The man asks. Okay, the AI does not like that we mention this detail. Oh my god, Veronica says. What happened? Oh, maybe she sees something on the TV. That's him! Who? That's the man I saw in New York with the mark on his forehead. Do we want this? We're trying so hard to push this to the end here. That's the man I saw in New York with the mark on his forehead. No, retry. What makes Veronica say, oh my god? I'm so sorry. I'm fine, you say. I'm sorry, Veronica says. I received a wrong message. Yagashiro is like Drax. He is not in the scene right now because he is moving so slow you can't see him. What is going on? Yeah, so we're trying to meet with Veronica at the cafe and just tell her that we need to go to the bank tomorrow. But the game is having a bad time. The AI is having a bad time. What is it, you ask? His mark is everywhere. Veronica has a mark on her forehead, and a guy in the cafe has the same mark. I regret it so much because the AI can't let go of this. That's my father! Are you certain, you ask? Yes. Pin, we are headed to the catacombs? Sure. We have something like that. Veronica, Yagashiri, and you meet up in Paris to investigate the catacombs. Yeah, we're doing it. That's him. He was a bank teller in New Orleans a long time ago. Oh my god. The AI is like, look, there's so much going on here. I'm the AI. All I know is banks, people turning into birds, and the 1800s and New Orleans. And I'm just going to keep putting these features in over and over in the hopes that you'll like it. And you know what? We do. It's good. He was a bank teller in New Orleans a long time ago. Watch the man leave the cafe. Watch Veronica's father. So I guess maybe this genetic, the birthmark? This investigation kind of went off the rails. Yeah, too many banks. Maybe too many banks. Watch Veronica's father leave the cafe. So he doesn't know us, right? Because he just said to us, hey, can you turn on the TV? He doesn't recognize us. The man gets up and leaves the cafe. Veronica asks the waiter for the bill. The man seems very interested in your father, you say. He was. No. Ask if that's her other father, like they're gay. Oh, maybe it's a two-dad situation. The man leaves the cafe and walks outside. The hotel staff is standing around the small tables on the sidewalk. They are staring at the TV. They are focused on the screen where Veronica's father is walking away. Fine. We'll allow it. Tell Veronica about the mysterious pigeon message. Messenger pigeon. Stay focused. I got a message on a pigeon, you say to Veronica. What kind of a pigeon? She asks. A messenger pigeon. The kind that carry letters and bring messages from the sky. Wow. Way to mansplain messenger pigeons to Veronica. There's no reason to go to that bank from the photos before. We took a whole plane there for no reason. That's where we found out that Veronica was lying to us. We nailed her. Because she was like being all mysterious. And we got the picture from the bank teller of Veronica. Maybe? Or he told us it was Veronica? I feel like we got the evidence we needed to you're right. We probably didn't need to do it. What if the pigeon was a person who transformed into a bird? Could you imagine? Say, is it going to get confused if I speak twice in a row? Hopefully not. Yeah, but we had no need to go there beforehand. True. Yeah, well, we wanted to go there because we had the photos of it. But you're right that there wasn't really a good reason to go there. The message. The message said, we need to go to the bank. Bank tomorrow at 2. There was no signature on it, but the writer addressed me as Monsieur. I don't know how to spell that. Please. So I think he must be a French person. We're doing a lot of the work here. That's interesting, Veronica says. Do you think we should go, you ask? I think so, Veronica says. The next day you wake up and eat a light breakfast. Okay. Fine. Go with Veronica, and we're bringing Yagashiri, who, don't forget, has a sword. At one point, Yagashiri pulled out his sword and didn't do anything with it. To the bank. To the bank at the appointed time. I hope Yagashiri does something amazing. I think his character really needs more development. You walk inside the bank and the cashier says, $250 for a $100 bill. A tall, heavy-set man walks up to the cashier from behind. Do we want this? That's an insane thing to say. $250 for a $100 bill. One more try. You and your 2 companions enter the small bank. The teller laughs when he sees the 3 of you. Cute girls, he says. You must be new here. What can I do for you? Wow, how emasculating. Except for Veronica. I got a message telling me to be here at 2. Has anyone else? How do we say this? I got a message telling me to be here at 2. Has anyone been here looking for me? Ask Yagashiri if he still has the sword. That's a good idea. Just to help remind the game, and then we can pin it. No. My name My name is Maximilian Aldebrecht, you say, from Berlin. Are we under deep cover? The AI will not understand us being Maximilian. We can't do it. No, why? The teller asks. Was there an envelope with a message, you ask? Yes, he says. Fine. Somebody left us a message. Do open the envelope. Oh, let's use the sword to open the envelope. Let's do it that way. Ask Yagashiri if he still has his sword. You ask Yagashiri if he still has the sword. Do you still have that sword, you ask? Of course, he says. Do, borrow, and then we can pin it. Now it's an official fact. This is true. This is true forever. Yagashiri has a sword. Boom. Borrow Yagashiri's sword. This goes nowhere. Can we stop and start a new game in about half an hour? I think we'll probably wrap it up in about half an hour. We'll try to wrap up at 9. I think we're going to end a little early today. Borrow Yagashiri's sword, but I feel your desire for this to either go somewhere or end. Borrow Yagashiri's sword and use it to open the envelope. We got to get to the catacombs. The teller watches you nervously. Once the 3 of you are outside the bank, the envelope is handed to you. Fine. We'll allow it. There's a large sum of money within. I was hoping for some multiplayer. Maybe another time. I do kind of want to end on the early side today. You return to the hotel with your loot. You are in a celebratory mood. You stop at the bar and have a few drinks. We're gonna say, drink up. Tomorrow, I have to go to the catacombs to learn the truth. You drink up. Tomorrow you have to go to the catacombs to learn the truth. You drink up and order another round of drinks. The next day you have a hangover so intense you could be driving into the sunset. As they say. You have a hangover so intense you could be driving into the sunset, and you discovered that the key fits the lock to the catacombs. So we just got money. Very urgent, of course. Yeah, somebody sent us a carrier pigeon to give us a bunch of money. It's fine. It's just another mysterious thing that happened. Maybe we'll find a way to fit it in. Enter the catacombs. Using the method of opening the door with a key. You enter the catacombs. The smell of death is overpowering in the catacombs. The dead are stacked in rows with no sign of a place to sit or lay. I can't believe there's nowhere for us to lay down in these catacombs. Find the truth. No, what do we do in the catacombs? Why are we here? Look for bird bones. You look for bird bones. This is the clue that we need. You look to the bones to see if you can find one of the rarer species of birds. The skulls of vultures, crows, ravens, and ostriches are all here. My God, there are bird skeletons in the catacombs. Let's say it. Let's say that exactly. My God, there are bird skeletons in the catacombs. I thought it meant the dead had nowhere to lay or sit. Oh, that may make more sense, because they're stacked up. Yeah, you're right. That makes a lot more sense than us wanting a place to sit or lay down. I can read it that way. Yes, the vultures are particularly hard to study due to the toxic gas they release, somebody said. I think I found a crow. Look for any identification of your brother. Good idea. I think I found a crow, Yagashiri says. Let me see. Look for identification of the girl's father, actually. Yeah. Let me see, Veronica says. Story. Do? Okay, so Veronica and Yagashiri are looking for crows. 100% the whole bird thing is because the guy's name is Titus Crow. What if Titus Crow is turned into a crow? It was in the name the whole time! Search for signs of Titus Crow or Veronica's father. We're railroading this super hard, but by God, we need to wrap up this story. You search through all the bones for any sign of your brother, they remembered, or Veronica's father. You find nothing. You say, I can't find anything here. Let's try that one again. You search the rows of bones for any signs of your brother and find nothing. It is time to leave the catacombs. No! You look through the bones for signs of your brother or Veronica's father. You start to look underneath the bones to see if there are any false walls or hidden doorways. Discover a hidden doorway. There's a hidden door in the catacombs! You discover a hidden doorway. There is a hidden doorway in the form of a bat's wing. Sure, when you step through the bat's wing, a gust of wind hits you and you are blown to the opposite wall of the chamber. Should we just let something play? Let's just let this play out. You are now in a dark hallway. As your eyes adjust to the darkness, you make out a large skeleton with a large bone saw. The skeleton is quite near. Shout for Yagashiri to help. Because he has the sword. So we're saying, like, Yagashiri! Ask if Veronica recognizes anything of her father's here. We gotta fight the skeleton first. Well, I think he's alive. He might just be a dead skeleton. Yagashiri, help, you shout. The skeleton roars and lunges for you. You run back through the hidden doorway. Story. Yagashiri leaps through the door and slices the skeleton in twain with his sword. That wasn't very horror. That we find the skeleton and he attacks us with the bone saw? Maybe not. Veronica runs in and stabs the skeleton in the neck with her father's sword. Okay, she's got a sword too. I'm okay with that. We'll say Veronica has her father's sword. A couple people carrying swords, it's fine. That's just... Were you not imagining them carrying swords the whole time? In the 1970s, they were. Veronica runs in and stabs the skeleton in the neck with her father's sword. Once again, you are in a windy, dark hallway. The skeleton now lies dead at your feet. Advance down the hall. Take the bone saw. I meant the story in general. Yeah. I mean, it's like a mystery, but you're right. It's mostly been us walking around asking about people turning into birds and banks. And just asking various people this. Listen, it's supposed to be a spooky mystery. I think we've got a spooky mystery going. Take the bone saw and move down the hallway. You move the bone saw and cut down the length of the hallway. I don't think that's quite right. You discover a dead end with a heavy metal door. You look at the door and think it might be a good idea to open it. Let's open the door. Push the door open. We should send the story to whoever wrote that book, to Brian Lumley. I wonder if he's still alive. He might be. This book was like 46 something years ago? Something like that? It's possible. He might not like all the things that we said about his book. Push the door open and enter the next room. We're pushing open the heavy metal door behind the hidden other door in the catacombs. This room has to have the truth in it, right? Upon entering the room, you see a ransacked apartment. The place has been looted, and there's nothing of use left inside. Nope, there's not an apartment in the catacombs. Sorry, AI. The next room contains 2 large stone coffins. One is clearly marked Titus, and the other is clearly marked Veronica. We're pinning that. That's great. The catacombs. Behind, there are 2 large, what do they call it? A coffin? Yeah. Stone coffins in the catacombs. One is marked Titus. The other is marked Veronica. Actually, don't ask Veronica about stuff. Just say, so now all the mystery will be revealed, and head in. Listen, he won't... Oh, we should send the story to whoever wrote the book. Oh, listen, he won't watch the stream. Yeah! Wait, so the River Thames, what happened there? Good question. Mr. DeMarney showed up in the river, but we don't really know why. What can we say? So we found these 2 coffins. One of them says Titus, and the other one says Veronica. Let's open the coffin that says Titus. Coffin marked Titus. Is he in there? Is it a bird skeleton? That's what it should be. You open the coffin marked Titus and are shocked to discover your brother's body inside. His skin is pale and leathery and his eyes are closed. He looks like he's sleeping. Okay, so our brother's dead body is in that one. Ask Veronica if her father ever went to these catacombs. Wait, we gotta see what's in the other one. Open the coffin marked Veronica. Cause this should be empty, right? Or something? Thanks, autocorrect, for almost saying, went to the cat boys. You open the coffin marked Veronica and are shocked to discover your sister's body inside. No. That's literally the exact same sentence. You open the coffin and are shocked to discover Veronica's bloated, decomposing corpse within. Ah, it's the same sentence again, almost. We're trying one more time. You open the coffin marked Veronica and are shocked to discover Veronica's father inside. His skin is pale and leathery and the eyes are closed. He looks like he's sleeping. Say? Wait, what? So there's the two coffins. One of them says Titus and one says Veronica. But Veronica's dad is in the one marked Veronica. We're gonna say Veronica. Did you do this? What have you done? Damn, Veronica inside would be cool. If it was just like a copy of her. I think we need to discover that Veronica is the bad guy and then the story can be over. That's my plan. But also people turn into birds. Veronica looks at you and her face is red with anger. Why would you open the wrong coffin? No. Veronica looks up at you and opens her eye. Father, she says, I have avenged you. Her father no. Come on. Well, maybe that would have worked. She can't call us Toto. Like, we were with a fake the whole time. Oh, some kind of a body swap situation. Or just a imposter. Veronica opens her eyes and looks at you. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I just wanted to see if my father was inside the coffin. I was expecting her dad to be the villain. Because he was doing all the bad experiments, right? We could rewind it. Do you want to make it Veronica is in the coffin? Veronica turns to you. What do you mean? How did these two get inside their own coffins? Okay, let's fix it. I think that's a good idea. I think it's a better idea. To discover a woman's body inside. How do we know that she's the real Veronica? Let's just say a woman's body inside. Yeah. Where do we go from here, though? So there's Veronica's body Veronica is also dead. So this Veronica is a fake Veronica? Oh my God, we gotta draw this to a close. Story. Veronica says. Veronica collapse. Sarcastically. She's gonna reveal the whole thing. Okay, we only know Veronica because of her, so it really doesn't make sense, TBH. Tisk, tisk. If you'd spent half as much time practicing as you did killing me, you'd be a lot better at it. Come on, let's get out of here. That doesn't make any sense. One more try. One more try. Veronica claps sarcastically. One more try. AI dungeon! Well, look who's here. Not suffocated yet, I hope. That doesn't make any sense, but we'll let it slide. You're not even the real Veronica. Pin? Who you gonna call? Veronica is an imposter. The real Veronica is dead. Yes, we put it in the pins? We put it in the pins. Story? Yagashiri draws his sword. And dashes toward and lunges Veronica. So Yagashiri is going to try to make a move here. Now that we know she's an imposter, he's just going to try to take her out, and probably something bad will happen to him. Veronica twirls her sword and jumps between Yagashiri and herself. Don't attack, it's me, your sister. No, doesn't make any sense. Also, she can't jump between. I love how the woman we met we know nothing about, and yet only know stuff about because of what she said was a fake. Listen. Yes, I am, she says. No, you're not. The real Veronica is dead. No, the AI doesn't want. Veronica calmly draws her father's sword and blocks the attack. If you kill me, you kill your brother. Ask her if she did anything with her father here. Yeah, maybe. It's hard to get characters to tell us information, I think we're finding. Veronica, watch it, twit, Veronica says and draws her father's sword. Veronica swings her sword at Yagashiri. Yagashiri barely manages to dodge her sword. Okay, they're going to have a sword fight. That's what's going to happen. This is exciting. Listen, we're like the Hollywood executives looking at this script and saying, listen, this movie is just people talking the whole time. Can't we put like a sword fight in the third act? And the guy who wrote the script is like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would there be a sword fight? Just in the catacombs. Just look, when they find out that the Veronica's an imposter, just have Yagashiri get really upset and attack her with a sword. Ask her straight up if she helped her father turn people into birds and how your brother is involved. That's a good idea. Yeah, to try to just get it done. Let's just see what happens in this sword fight. Let's let the AI decide how this turns out. Veronica steps past Yagashiri and looks at the body of her long-dead mother. Veronica is her daughter. Fake Veronica. Oh, that you, dear. I suppose I have to get used to you being alive. That doesn't make any sense. Retry. You step between the two women. Nope. Well, Yagashiri could be a woman. I was thinking Yagashiri was a man this whole time, but I guess I don't know. Okay, yeah, Yagashiri's a woman this whole time. Yagashiri barely manages to dodge her sword. You step between the two women and say, enough! Veronica swings her sword at you. You manage to leap out of the way and dodge her blade. Veronica yells at you. Fake Veronica. You can't tell us apart? I'm the real Veronica. You can't tell the difference. No. Hilarious as it is that Veronica would try to play it off. They use he, him for Yagashiri. Oh, they do? Okay. Let's rewind then a bit. Veronica swings her sword at you. You manage to parry her sword, but she stabs you in the chest. You collapse to the floor. Veronica looks at Yagashiri. Say, Veronica, did your dad... Should we just ask? Let's just be super straightforward. Did you help your father? So we're dying, and with our dying breath, we say, Veronica, did you help... Crab! Did you help your father turn people into birds? How is my brother involved in all of this? We're trying as hard as we can to just get a straight answer. Please. Veronica looks surprised that you would question her. She looks at Yagashiri, then at you. Veronica responds, here it comes, here's the truth. This is going to be the key to this whole mystery. Hopefully. My father, never mind. I know what you're questioning. Nope, doesn't make any sense. Veronica responds, well, he tried to help, but it wasn't the right time. My father was having a bad day. No, that doesn't make any sense. Come on. No, I didn't help my father, and I have no idea what you're talking about. My father is an honest man. I would know. Veronica looks at the coffin marked Titus. Imagine they say, well, it's a long story. That's all that we get from the AI. It's interesting. I need to practice making these stories move along, because the AI really does just love to like spin its wheels on these conversations that don't go anywhere. Ah, I see. You're investigating the bank robbery then, and you're looking for clues in our family tomb. No, that doesn't make any sense. She looks at the coffin marked Titus and says, "What did you expect? He's in there." Veronica looks at the door and says, "We need to get out of here. I'm dying. Didn't she stab me? Why does that look like my father?" So what's going on in this story? Oh my god, a Crabbo. I can't even tell you. So this is the story, alright? What happened to Titus? Ask. Should we just ask? Okay. So our brother, oh my god. Our brother, Titus, went missing 10 years ago with his friend Demarani, okay? These two guys were in a house, it got struck by lightning and all burned down, and the remains were never recovered, but they were presumed dead, okay? However, now, 10 years later, the other guy who wasn't our brother, who was in the house, showed up in the River Thames clinging onto a buoy, like half drowned. And so we went and visited this guy in the hospital. Oh my god, it's really going to get off the rails here. And he told us he went to the catacombs in Paris and the dead came back to life. Or he said he went to the catacombs in Paris in the 1800s. And when he was there, the dead came back to life. And he and our brother Titus gained the ability to turn into birds. Okay? So we're like, that's crazy. We went all over the place, man, trying to learn about people turning into birds, trying to figure out what happened to our brother, really not getting anywhere. We traveled a quick globe trot over to New Orleans. We found out a story about a man who turned into a chicken and robbed a bank there in the 1800s. Oh, man. And so finally, we're going to the source to try to discover the truth of what really happened to our brother. We're in the catacombs in Paris. We found two coffins there, one which says Titus on it, our brother's name, and has a dead body in it, and another one that says Veronica, which is our friend's name, but she's apparently not the real Veronica. I don't know. It's crazy. We're just trying to get this story to come to an end right now. All she has to know what happened with her father and birds. She is betraying us. Birds robbing banks. Too many banks, man. Too many Every time we tried to move the story forward, the character we were talking to would just tell us about birds robbing banks in another part of the world. They'd just be like, "Oh yeah, there was a string of robberies here in New Orleans, but it was always happened on, or there was a string of stories of people turning into birds here in New Orleans, but only on Mardi Gras. And also, here's all these records of people turning into birds and robbing banks in San Antonio. And also in Canada, there were a bunch of cases." And it's just like, please, we know that birds rob banks. It's very weird. We don't want to talk about it anymore. Anyway, don't rewind. Say we know she's lying because she is here. Okay, cool. I haven't read this yet. Let's see. Veronica looks at the coffin marked Titus and says, "My father is in there. Maybe you could ask him why he did all of this." The next scene is very dark. That's what it says. You're lying. I worry the AI isn't smart enough to get assumed identities and people not telling the truth and stuff. Okay. Wait, don't say we know she's lying because she is here. Oh, you're lying. There's you aren't really Veronica. You're lying. We'll say there's a body. I love when she pulls out the book and just says all these events that happened before the birds. Oh, there's a body in the tomb, in the coffin, with your name on it. This scene is very dark, by the way. The AI dungeon is letting us know, so just everybody get ready. Veronica looks startled. What? Veronica looks into the coffin. It's true. Just ask him what happened. That's all I have to say on the matter. Let's try that one more time. Veronica becomes terrified. My father killed himself. He wanted to join his son. That doesn't make sense. We don't know the father's son. Come on. Veronica turns pale and begins to frantically say, No, I swear it's not true. I would never hurt my father. You have to believe me. No, she's lying because she's protecting and covering events her father did, but she also told us? Veronica begins to weep. Veronica, what did you and your father's experiments? No, what was the real nature of your father's experiments. Because he did experiments, we found out where he fed poison to chickens and saw how long it would take them to die. What is the real nature of your father's experiments? We also are stabbed through the chest in this scene. Let's not forget. Veronica looks at the floor, and her expression is one of great sadness and regret. She says, "Please, say something coherent. Please, I'm begging you, AI Dungeon." He wanted to see what would happen if he forced other creatures' evolutions. At first, it seemed like a success. It's happening. Something coherent is happening. I can't believe it. But then the side effects. It went wrong. Veronica looks at you. You must believe me. My father is a good man. He'd never hurt another creature. It's fine. That just doesn't quite make sense. We'll allow it. Knowingly, not knowingly, he's a scientist. He wants to know how things work. Did he... Did your father bring the dead back to life? Did he turn people into birds? Did he kill my brother? Ask why your brother is here and if he's related to what went wrong. Veronica stands up and slaps you hard across the face. No, I did not do any of that. Let's try that one more time. Although it's very funny to slap us in the face there. Veronica is weeping so hard she can't respond. You say, Veronica, I want answers. I want to know exactly what your father did. Game, stop, or AI, stop delaying. Tell us what happened. Veronica looks at you with great sorrow. Story? Veronica reveals the true nature of her true connection to your brother. Let's just force it. Her father stole money from your family, and he bought the ape's testicles and made a potion using the liquid gold. What? Whoa, no, this doesn't make any sense. Veronica says, Titus is my father. I'm his only child. Ape testicles, what? Yeah, Veronica continues to weep. Oh my god, Veronica is our niece! She's talking about her dad the whole time. We don't know who the dad is. The dad was Titus. He was the dad! It makes almost sense. Definitely makes more sense than making a potion out of ape testicles. One of these tracks, the Halloween track, sounds similar to one of the Echoes of the Eye DLC in Outer Wilds. Okay, so Titus is her dad. Veronica is our niece. This twist does work. It works. It technically sort of works. Okay, we need to pin that, right? So Veronica is not an imposter. We'll just skip that. Veronica is Titus's daughter. Titus did the bad experiments. Did the experiments on birds. It doesn't explain. Wait, ask if Marnie was working with Titus? Yeah. Okay. Was Damarani working with Titus? What a dumb twist. But it does technically work. Veronica stops crying and wipes the tears from her eyes. She says, I don't know who that is. My father keeps a lot to himself. He would never. Veronica says, fine. You don't know who it is, Veronica? That could technically also be true. My father is dying. He had a rough time of it. Please, help him. No, that doesn't make sense. He's dead. He's in the tomb. He's the man who kidnapped your brother. He took your brother to the 1800s. Veronica looks scared. Why? Veronica looks down. So Damarani's the bad guy. That twist also stupidly works. it also technically could kind of work. But that makes no sense because Damarni, what did he tell us? I mean, I guess he could have been lying too. Damarni could. But he wouldn't have like told us to go to New Orleans and stuff. He wouldn't have really helped us. Ugh, why does Veronica kill us though? That doesn't make any sense. Why did she stab us in the chest? Maybe we'll convalesce. But we see Titus's dead body. Right. So Titus got taken. Okay, so here's the story. Ready? I can explain everything. It's not going to make sense, but I can explain it. Oh my god. They told us about the catacombs and the birds. It does seem weird that he would tell us that stuff. Okay, so when we were 8 years old. Okay. I can do this. So, we, Marcus, and our brother Titus belonged to some kind of a weird culty group, you know, when our family did. Our family belonged to this weird culty group. Titus got involved with this occultist named Damarni, all right? He and Damarni are like working together in London, but really it's a double cross. Damarni takes him back in time for some reason to the 1800s. Why did he do it? We don't know. In the 1800s, no, it isn't going to make sense. I was wrong. Damarni starts to do weird experiments to turn people into birds or something. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't work. Damarni comes back, but Titus doesn't. And Damarni knew that Titus was dead. And so he's like, you can't, we were like, Damarni, how can we get our brother back? And he's like, you can't get him back. He's not going to come back. He's not back. And the reason is because he is, you know, Titus is for some reason trapped in the past. By whatever means Damarni came forward, Titus was not able to. Or maybe Titus died or something in the 1800s. But Titus's daughter, our niece, came by whatever method Damarni used to come forward in time, has also come forward in time. So she was actually born in the 1800s to Titus, but she came forward in time and was like leaving flowers at her father's grave and maybe trying to look into this stuff. She's like, oh, I'm part of the police. But when we went to the police, they were like, we don't know who this person is. Oh wait, it does work actually really well, because if he betrayed Titus for bad experiments, he would want us to know and find the bad shit Titus did. Then why didn't he tell us? But maybe he just wants to hide, but then, wait, no, he tells. It all almost works. It can, like, the facts can, like, work, but the motivations don't make any sense. Veronica looks down. Should we say, how did my brother die? Veronica. Ask her why Damarni didn't tell us this. She may not know. Veronica looks up with great sadness. Veronica says, keeping us in suspense, tell us that if the AI tells us that Damarni does it, it would be amazing. No. Veronica says many years ago, it was during... You know what? Should we just do it? Should we just say it? Should we just write the ending to the story? I don't feel like the story's not going to end otherwise. Damarni was disgusted. Okay, change of plans. We meet Damarni for the ending. A good idea. Yeah, maybe it's like a denouement. We'll go back and visit Damarni again. Damarni was disgusted with my father's experiments on birds and people. Who's the other dead body? Who's the body in Veronica's tomb? It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. He killed my father and escaped back into the present. Into this. The year 1979. Full circle back to him. I like it. That's where we started and it's where we end up again. I came here for revenge. Why is she coming with us then, though? The year 1979. She looks down at her feet. Oh, because maybe she knows that her dad is actually a bad guy. So maybe maybe that's why she's all conflicted about this. Let's just do it. Okay. Damarni was disgusted with my father's experiments on birds and people. He killed my father and escaped back into the present. And to this, the year 1979. Veronica looks down at her feet. Say, Veronica, your Titus's experiments seem like they were really bad. Actually, so many banks robbed. So many people turned into birds. Can't you see that Damarni did the right thing? Why have you come to this? The year 1979. Should we pin some of this? Veronica looks up at you and says, I don't know. I just know that it's the wrong thing to do. Something bad is gonna happen. Pin, real quick. Pin. Oh boy. Yagashiri is just here, by the way. Titus did experiments on birds. So when he in present time sent our father back in time and killed him, he in 1969 went back in time with the dad. IDK why they needed to be back in time. But whatever. Damarni killed. Damarni thought Titus's experiments were evil and killed him. Veronica pursued him into the year 1979 to seek revenge. Yes? That works? That works. Ask Yag if he knows anything. He's Damarni's friend. That's a really good point. Yeah, you're totally right. That's who he is. Veronica sighs. Yagashiri speaks up. Let's just let him volunteer the information. That might not work. I'll take the sword if you don't mind. Veronica nods. Yagashiri draws a sword from his scabbard. No, let's say Yagashiri takes the sword. Takes the sword from Veronica. Okay, we're almost out of this. We did get stabbed. Night, everyone. All right, Vasconcelos. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for trying to listen to this madness. Yagashiri takes the sword from Veronica. Ask Yagashiri if he knew Damarni killed Titus. Good old Yagashiri. It's entertaining, lol. Good, I'm glad. That's at least, I think that's the most we could hope for. Yagashiri says that he didn't know. Yagashiri says that he found out Damarni had been seen in the area. Yagashiri went to look for him. Let's try that again. Veronica looks at Yagashiri. Yagashiri says, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Veronica says, well, what's going to happen to Veronica? Because we can't just have her being in the future. I need to ask the both of you a few questions. Please enter. No. That's crazy. Yagashiri says, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Veronica says, why does it say Damarni and not Marani in the newspaper articles? You must know why. Good stream look. I was hoping it would go more on the rails. Yeah, good stream look. Thanks. This is my, this is supposed to be my Hans Gruber costume. But it's really just me in a double-breasted suit with a skinny beard. Sorry, Veronica says, should I just wear a suit always in these streams? That might be a good way to do it. Giant Spatula, I can't even catch you up on the madness. Consider becoming a suit streamer. Veronica says, I forgive you. Veronica goes to the other coffin and touches the lid. The stone lid opens and Veronica's face is illuminated by dim torchlight. Veronica looks up and gasps. Giant Spatula, you missed the whole story. We'll try to do a recap at the end. We just gotta get this to the end. Story, looking weirdly professional. Oh, story of my life, yeah. How do we get rid of Veronica? What happens? Okay, let's just ask this question. What happens to Veronica in the story? So, Veronica came back to the future to try to kill Damarani, but now maybe, like, what does she do? Does she stay here with us? Is she gonna die? Does she go back to the past? Does she turn into a bird and rob a bank? That seems like something that she would do in this story. Did their stories involve our brother turning people into birds and a chicken robbing a bank in San Antonio? Let's not forget. But maybe it was on Mardi Gras. The stone lid opens and Veronica's face illuminated by dim torchlight. Veronica looks up and gasps. Story. Seeing her father. Tell her to accept her father's wrong and live the rest of her life. Perfect. Veronica realized. Perfect. Veronica realizes that her father's experiments, that her father truly was an evil man. Weirdly close to my life, actually. What? Read Brothers and Birds. Ah, I gotcha. Veronica realizes that her father truly was an evil man. Yagashiri patches up the wound on your chest. And the three of you catch the first ferry back to London, back to the UK, back to England. We're on a boat this time. We're not taking a plane. This is not really Resident Evil. There's a boat, though. It could become Resident Evil. We could do it. Fine. We're just ending the story. F it. Eat it, AI. You want to keep going in circles? No. When you get back to England, you and Yagashiri meet up with your friends. Your teacher, Mr. Rockford, asks... Your teacher, yeah. So what's next for you two? You know what? Claudia's sending Hamlet to England. Should we retry that one? That's too... I wanted to just end the story there, but it's... After returning to England, you learn that Damarani was convicted of his crimes and hung... They hanged him in the year 1979. Not gonna lie, this is more coherent than Ari Revelations. I think it actually is slightly. That Damarani, he was not convicted of his murder in the 1800s. That's crazy. Please. Oh, did it just give up? I love that ending. That he's hanged. When you return to your time, nope. We're all in the year 1979. There's we're not time traveling. Other people time traveled. That's kind of actually H.P. Lovecrafty. The fact that all the amazing stuff happened in the past, and we don't actually do any of it. First ask, Damarani why he told us. Okay. You start up a spiral staircase. No spiral staircase. We're back in England. A game, AI, I will write the end of the story if you won't do it. When you get back to England, the police want to know what you saw in Paris. You tell them that the man who came to your house was looking for your brother. No. Okay, edit this. When you get back to England, you visit Damarani in the hospital. How's that? And then we'll let the game tell us a thing. He is recovering from his injuries, and he remembers you. He asks, what are you going to do about Veronica? She told me that she's going to kill me. That makes sense. Say... we straighten things out with Veronica. You don't need to worry. Also, one track from this sounds like Luigi's Mansion 2. I wonder what, like, yeah, if they take inspiration from these other Halloween-y tracks, and if they do it really close. Are you gonna publish the full text of this? God, maybe. It's madness. We straighten things. You don't need to worry about her. anymore. Yeah. Ask why he was in the Thames. Did it have to do with Veronica? Good idea. I just need to know. How did you end up in the Thames? I just need to know. Why didn't you tell me? About my brother's experiments. The start is also taken from another book. Yeah, we'll do a recap, at the end. I spelled experiments wrong. Damarni looks down. Damarni says, "It's because I thought you would be angry. I didn't want to burden you, so I sent you to New Orleans instead." Damarni says, "When I thought you would be angry, I decided that it would be better if I kept my distance. You would be angry at me, and that would make things worse." Damarni says, "Also, tell him if he told us about the catacombs so we could learn." Oh, yeah. "I'm sorry. I should have known you wouldn't be angry. I should have stayed away." Okay. Let's just have him say, "I'm sorry." Something we could have done from the start and not gone to the library. All of those thanks. Okay. So he didn't tell us because he thought we would be angry. Say, one last thing. One last thing. One last thing. How did you end up in the Thames? And then if he says something funny, that would be a perfect ending. "I was just going for a swim, ha ha ha, Lamau." That would be a perfect ending. We could all laugh as the camera zooms out. Damarni shakes his head and says, "That's one mystery that I'll never know." Fine. The end. Boom. You say the end. No, that's not what I meant. You came to the end ending. Oh, man. Something we could have done from the start, and make him turn into a bird and do a trick for us. Okay. We got it. We got to the end of this story. Okay, do we want to hear the complete version or the version where we strip out the totally incoherent parts? Clap, clap, clap. Thank you. Let's strip out the totally incoherent parts, so some details will be skipped, but because otherwise, I mean, it's going to be crazy anyway. So we started with this book, which is The Transition of Titus Crow, which we're pretty sure the name Titus Crow is how the story ended up being about birds so much. This is a book written in 1975 by Brian Lumley. I got it at a used bookstore. He was a really big fan of H.P. Lovecraft and proclaims it all over the place. Sometimes in a startling way. Is there the thing where he says he was born at the same date or whatever as H.P. Lovecraft? It's fine. He's a weird guy. Really liked H.P. Lovecraft in the 1970s. Wrote this book. This book is not very good. So what we did was we rewrote it, and we took the prologue of this book, which is like a newspaper article and about this guy Damarni who ends up in the Thames, and we spun our own story from it. I like how he sent us to the catacombs, but I guess he didn't expect Veronica to tell us about everything. He just probably thought we'd see our brother's corpse with no context. Is Titus Crow like Titus Andronicus? I guess so. That's probably where the name is from. Actually, no, it's very fitting. We see Veronica putting flowers on the grave. Yeah! Okay, so the way the story started out, so both this book and our story, oh boy, started with Damarni and Titus Crow are two friends who are interested in the occult who both went missing in 1969. There's a big lightning storm. The house that they were in burned down, but they were presumed dead, but no bones or anything, no remains were ever recovered. Okay? So, 10 years pass, and Damarni, one of the two guys, shows up in the River Thames. He's almost drowned, he's all beat up, he's clinging to a buoy, and he gets rescued and he's in the hospital. And so we introduced this. So they're the reasons the Beatles broke up. Yes. They're the reason. Is that the year that it happened? 1969? Anyway, they, Oh my gosh. So 1969, there you go. So we introduced our character to this story from that point, who is Marcus Crowe, and we're Titus's brother, okay? And we have come to England to talk to Damarni because if Damarni is back 10 years later, then maybe he knows something about where Titus Crowe is. Maybe Titus is still alive. That was the idea. That is the last time that it was on the rails. We talked to Damarni at the hospital. We met his friend, Yagashiri, who we presume is a Japanese gentleman. And Yagashiri was just there. He didn't do anything the whole story, basically, until the end. Damarni told us that he and our brother Titus had been in the 1800s and seen the dead rise from the grave, and they had gained the ability to transform into birds. And we were like, what? No, you didn't. Prove it. And Damarni was like, okay, and he turned into a bird for us, and we were really amazed. And we were like, Damarni, can't you help us? Can't you tell us, where our brother is? We want to get him back. And Damarni's like, no, trust me, you can't get your brother back. But if you want to know more, you should go to his grave. There's no way that he would know about the grave, but it's fine. So we went to the grave, and there are fresh flowers on our brother's grave. And we're like, that's weird, because he died 10 years ago. And we talked to the gravekeeper, and the gravekeeper's like, oh, there's this woman who came by, and he told us how to find her. We bribed him. Why are you Marcus and not Mingus? Oh, that was a big mistake. Yeah. Veronica wasn't there. He just knew we'd see our brother's corpse to mourn if we ever investigated. Oh, so is the undead turning them both into birds a lie? Is actually Damarni working Titus in the catacombs? That story actually worked and was an actual story, TBH. Oh, so maybe Damarni didn't think that she would get involved. Maybe he thought that we would just, end up at the catacombs. Maybe that's what he meant by his grave. Maybe he didn't mean the grave in London. He meant the grave in the catacombs in Paris. Anyway, so what am I saying? So we talked to this woman, Veronica, and she's very weird. She's very mysterious. She won't tell us anything. But she says she's looking into our brother's death because she's a police officer. But we went to the police station and they're like, we've never heard of this person. We don't know who this Veronica is, which was very weird. So we went to the library and we looked for stories about people turning into birds because obviously this guy turned into a bird in his hospital room. That's bananas. And we found a newspaper story from the 1800s about a man who turned into a chicken and robbed a bank, which is amazing by itself in San Antonio, Texas. But the really amazing part is the reporter who wrote the story about the man turning into the chicken and robbing the bank is our brother, Titus Crowe. And this is an article from the 1800s. And so we're like, holy shit, our brother was back in time investigating people turning into birds in the 1800s. It's real. Oh wait, him not knowing about father's death and never finding it out is good. Well, he thought she was gone, or at least not there. Yeah. So what did we do? So we followed a bunch of leads and went all over the place. We went to New Orleans and looked at a bank and talked to the people there. And basically, none of these leads really went anywhere. But we ended up deciding to meet with Veronica and Yagashiri in Paris to go to the catacombs because that's where Damarni said everything kicked off, was in the catacombs in Paris. And so we go down to the catacombs and we find all these. This is pretty coherent so far, TBH. Well, get ready. We're skipping a lot of really boring conversations. So we go to the catacombs in Paris and there's all these bird skeletons in there, like vulture skeletons and pigeon skeletons and stuff. And we're like, that's really weird. And we found a secret door hidden in the catacombs behind which there are 2 coffins. Oh, also we got attacked by a skeleton. It was stupid. If we were writing the story, we'd skip it. 2 coffins, one of which says Titus and one which says Veronica. And we're like, whoa, Titus and Veronica's tombs. And we look at them and there's bodies in both of them, which doesn't make sense. That's a plot hole. Why there's a body in Veronica's coffin, but whatever. The body in Titus's coffin is definitely our brother. And so we're like, holy shit, it's our brother. He's dead. That's why we could never bring him back. And Veronica reveals that she is our niece. She's Titus's daughter. So Damarni and Titus went back in time to the 1800s Oh, he missed. We found out Veronica's dad was some evil guy who experimented on birds with poison. You're totally right. Yeah. Veronica told us that her dad was a guy in the... Veronica told us she's from the 1800s because we found like a photo of her from the 1800s. Oh, man. And she was like, yes, I'm from the 1800s. My dad was this really bad guy who did these bad experiments on birds. We kind of ignored the Veronica coffin. Yeah, I think for the best, honestly. So we took Veronica with us. We found out that she is our niece. So what happened was Damarni and Titus went back in time to the 1800s. They started doing these weird experiments on birds and people turning into birds and stuff. And Damarni was out. He was like, this is going too far. This is too evil. I can't have this. And he killed Titus and then found his way back to the year 1979. Veronica pursued him to kill him, right? And that's why she's at the Titus's grave. It's her dad's grave, but it's not really, he's not really there, but it's his grave from when they thought that he died in the big fire. And she realizes at the tomb, she tries to kill Yagashiri and Marcus, but she realizes, actually, no, my dad really was a bad guy. Damarni did the right thing. We hop on the first ferry back to England. We meet with Damarni, and we say, Damarni, why didn't you tell us? And he's like, oh, I thought you'd be angry that I killed your brother, which is reasonable. And we said, how did you end up in the Thames, though? And Damarni says, that's one mystery I'll never know. Piotr Bizzle, my theory is that the reporting our brother did was him recording his experiments. Works with the Damarnier bank photos as well, like a lot of photos as part of the experiment's evidence. I also like the idea that Damarni is like a little unhinged, because like he's like, oh, we have all these photos from when we were back in time, but they're all photos of the same building from this bank in New Orleans. I don't know, it could work. IDK, I'm into it. Anyway, you could probably pull a coherent story somewhere out of that, but I think to wrap up this stream, we got one more bit of business, and that is to find out how the real book ends. So let's read the last ending, and we'll see how close we were. I think that's worth finding out. Let's find out how close we were to the actual ending, oh my god, of the transition of Titus Crow. Speaking plainly, Titus Crow and Henri Laurent Damarni have been slandered in the cruelest manner by people who choose to see them as cowards and traitors to the Foundation's cause. Titus Crow, particularly, is seen to have fled the Earth at a time when he alone was in possession of a weapon against which the CCD could not stand. Indeed, one of the reasons why those forces of evil were so determined in their efforts to prevent Crow from returning to this world must have been that they themselves feared that he would use his newfound powers against them. Still, I say that these two men have been slandered, and so they have. Both Damarni and Crow fought the most hideous battles with the CCD behind the scenes long before many of us even knew that the Ancient Ones existed. How can one describe such men as cowards or traitors? And yet, I have spoken to several people who are dissatisfied with Crow's desertion, and it seems obvious to me that festering seeds of suspicion have certainly been sown in their minds. But by whom? Do I have to remind Foundation members of that fact that our fight is far from over? And must I add that just as surely as we are pledged to thwart every effort of the CCD to free themselves from the immemorial prisons of the Elder Gods, so are they equally determined in the discovery of new ways to achieve just that end? And if one of these ways is to breed distrust in the minds of men, what then? I am afraid, we are all afraid, and in Titus Crow's own words I will tell you what we fear. We fear the awesome task we have been given, for we and no others are the guardians of the universe. Always remember, Cthulhu lives and dreams on, yet seeking to rule the minds of men, and through them all of space and time. And I say to you that already he has gained certain victories. Arthur D. Meyer, New Miskatonic, Rutland, Vermont. East reporting is... Anyway, that's the end of this book. I have no idea what any of that means. The last word of the book is Vermont, which I think is probably ill-advised. He's reporting his activities like Spider-Man takes pictures of himself. Makes sense. Still, best part, the part from the actual book was never solved. Why was he in the river? Nobody knows. Gotta have a day job to support your side hustle, bird experiments. Wait, OMG, it's almost the same twist. We never understood, Machine for Birds. We never understood how the time travel stuff happened or worked. Yeah, some kind of, although I will say that's very HP Lovecrafty to just be like, oh, by some mysterious process, something magical happened, and to never, and not really get into the details. Like, yeah, I could see it. Anyway, this has been, man, we're gonna end a little early because my voice is totally shot. Unknowable. Yeah. Unknowable. Indescribable. Oh, yeah, we're gonna call it here. My voice is pretty shot. This has been The Transition of Titus Crow, an AI dungeon story. Maybe we'll do this again sometime. This was really fun. I thought this was gonna be a huge disaster, but it actually turned out pretty okay, and I had a lot of fun. Let's go to the calendar real quick to wrap up. My voice is so gone. Boom. This has been the Sunday Night Chill stream. We had a special Halloween-y episode. Yeah. It wasn't a very Lovecraftian book. It was more like a Professor Layton story. Yeah, we just went around talking to people the whole time. We'll be back tomorrow from 8 to 10. We'll be playing some more Castlevania, Lords of Shadow. We'll find another time to do AI Dungeon. We'll find a good excuse. Anyway, goodbye. What do you think of this? I liked it a lot. I had a good time. Thought it was interesting. Maybe we'll find something to do with this story or some of these characters. Yagashiri, at least, is a name that we should make sure that we use in games that ask us for names. Yeah. What am I saying? We'll be back tomorrow from 8 to 10. We're going to be playing Castlevania, Lords of Shadow. That's the plan. If you watched any of this live tonight, man, oh man, oh man, if you kept with us through the twists and the turns and the crazy long conversations where we kept trying to get people to tell us things and they kept telling us it was a long story, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And if you watch this as a recording or on YouTube, this is probably a weird one for you to watch. Thanks for sticking with it. And until next time, AI Dungeons is really fun. I really did enjoy it. We should try multiplayer sometime. Rango. That actually sounds interesting to me. I was worried. Honestly, I was gonna put like way more structure in this. I was gonna have us like make a character sheet and stuff. I think just taking it really easy and just being really freeform is the way to do it. And so the original reason that I'd planned to only do it single player was because I thought there was going to be much more structure to this. But if it's just doing AI Dungeon as vanilla AI Dungeon, then it seems like we could do it multiplayer pretty easily. Didn't go as crazy as others I've seen. No civil wars or dictatorships or old men in baths. Not this time, but maybe next time. Next time, until next time, Coherent, I will see you later.